cheers to episode 181. You don't have much to say this whole night. This is built for hater Evan. I'm expecting you to just bury all of Michigan's fan base tonight.
I'm not burying them.
Until they lose to someone.
There's probably some on Twitter, though, that you really want to talk to. There's probably some people specifically that have been under your skin for the last 2 years, and you just want to bury them.
No, you deserve to talk shit the last 2 years, but as soon as the new season starts, like April hits, you didn't deserve to talk shit.
Guys, this can't be the opening.
Yeah, we have soft opens. It can be. That's what we're going to get into.
Soft.
This is decaf.
Serve ice cream.
Just so you guys don't freak out, this is decaf.
This is, do you know where this is from?
O'Toole's.
You ever been
That's
there?
in Royal Oak. I've never been in that bar.
What?
What? Yeah, I've never been in that bar.
You sure? I've been in there with your girlfriend.
Yeah, I don't think I've been in there.
Interesting. I mean, I think Evan might have been in there.
I don't remember what bar I've been into.
Definitely one weekend I remember people being in that bar that I was not there for, but I don't know what it was. But I've never been to O'Toole's. Tonight's show, well, it's Monday, September 9th. Monday Night Football going on right now. No Christian McCaffrey. That was dirty what they did to us fantasy owners the entire week. They said all week, I'll be good to go. I'm fine. Just inactive. Just a quick inactive like an hour before kickoff. Absolute BS. Anyways, I have him in my work league. That's why it affects me. But I wasn't going to win that anyways. It's 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 7:30 p.m. Central Time. Michigan lost pretty embarrassingly on national television at noon. Big noon kickoff. Michigan State won a huge road game. A huge Tigers fan for Jonathan Smith. Spartans, they're 2-0. And then the Lions had a nice win on Sunday Night Football. I think we're all getting to the age, though. Evan, you echoed the sentiment. Sunday Night Football, overrated when you get older, when it's your team. Sucks.
Overrated.
Yep. People can call us losers all we want, but I would much rather play at 1 p.m. for an NFL slate any day. Just put my game at 1 and let me go to bed early at night.
Also, that just caused a lot of stress, panic. Feels like when you're playing in front of the whole world, you have to win like more than you would just if we were playing at 1 o'clock and no one was really paying attention, you know?
I mean, I'd rather play a Monday night. Monday night starts at like 8 o'clock now, not 8:30.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't go to bed last night till 11:30, and I'm at Central Time. So I can't imagine how you guys were feeling.
As soon as the game was over, I laid down as fast as possible.
The adrenaline after the game, there's no way I was going to be able to go to sleep right away.
No, I did. It was very easy.
But you slept during most of the game.
Yeah.
I did not sleep during most of the game. I was in and out there for a chunk of the third quarter.
I thought you were talking to Ben, but you were going in and out of sleep.
No, I said I didn't have to respond to the text messages in the group chat. I was awake for the entire fourth quarter.
Evan thinks Hendon Hooker played at the end, as far as he knows.
Evan thinks the final score was 17-3. That's when he fell asleep.
No, I saw Cooper Kupp's touchdown, and I saw the interception.
Oh, his sideline grab was so nasty.
Oh.
I said out loud, I said, there's no way that is a completion. And then they slowed it down. I was like, oh my God. He like caught it. And as Chris Collinsworth told us, he tapped his toe twice there, Mike. Oh my God.
He runs a 4.640.
He got 4 feet down. It's impossible.
God, he just does incredible things.
All right, so we're going to do the winners and losers of the weekend again to talk about all kind of national stuff. We'll try to make a rule for winners and losers. Like, so, for example, this week, obviously, winner of the weekend, Texas, loser, Michigan. But let's try to not talk about those during that segment. That's more for like...
I cross them off my list.
I mean, you can do it if you want.
Nope,
but
it's okay.
We'll save any big stuff for that for when we break down the games. Let's just do the quick Detroit Tigers update now. They're like 3.5 games out of the wild card, so I do think we need to be fully invested. But I'm going to be honest with you guys, it's kind of hard to do because I'm fully in football mode.
Game
so
off.
I haven't watched any Tigers baseball
Grant,
yet.
Good news for you. Both our teams, college football teams, don't play anybody on Saturday. So you can be invested until Sunday. So you have 1, 2, 3. You have 4 games to get invested in.
Okay. StreamEast.com.
Actually,
they play the Rockies too.
Yes.
You have 5 games to get invested in. We have an off day tonight, so we play the Rockies 3 games.
Geez. Home or away?
Home.
Oh, I kind of wish away. I love seeing balls fly out of their ballpark.
Home. We're home.
I think we got a school start on game 3.
School will start Thursday, 1 o'clock. What are you doing? Skipping school. Let's go.
Trust tree.
You haven't watched Skubal pitch all year.
I've probably seen 3 innings of Tariq Skubal pitch this year.
Tariq?
He was
Eric?
the one with the bad names.
Tariq Skubal? Tyreek Skubal.
Oh my God.
What is
just
it?
caught that.
Tarek.
Oh, Garrett Wilson.
Tarek with a T. Tarek.
Are you going up against Garrett Wilson?
Yeah, because of JMO, a little preview there. It's a ball game now. I was comfortably happy just watching the Lions game. Had no idea JMO, I was playing against him. Go back and look, and I was losing in my matchup. And I said, what the JMO's touchdown put him over.
Waymo happened.
And then,
I lost on the David Montgomery touchdown.
Oh, bittersweet.
Pain.
It was, because I was really excited, and then I realized I lost in fantasy.
Grant, Skubal pitched in the All-Star game. You didn't watch that inning?
No one watches the MLB All-Star game. Get
Alex
out of here.
Skubal.
Are you kidding me? I've been watching Tigers baseball. Okay.
No, you haven't.
No, you
Yes,
haven't.
I have.
No.
You've been talking about it at the water
Yeah.
cooler. You watch highlights, probably.
Correct. So that means watching.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
more than I have.
little preview for on Saturday. One of the TVs at the house I was at on Saturday got changed from college football to Tigers baseball on Saturday.
Now, I don't know if I'm ready for that.
During what
It
game?
happened. It
During
happened.
what game?
3:30 slot. My game was on the primetime TV, and then it got demoted. Michigan State got demoted to the second TV while the Tigers
That's not
went to the
happening for
first
me.
TV. I am standing by myself on the far right of the patio, just watching the Michigan State, looking up at it like I'm in Walmart staring at the TV playing a video game.
Garrett Wilson again. Sorry, Evan.
Mother!
You don't have to tell it every time he catches a pass.
No, people like that. They love to see Evan in a sweat on Monday night.
Only up 15 points. I thought I was... It's because I have Caleb Williams, my starting quarterback. I'm so stupid.
Sorry, you're gonna have J.K. Dobbins on your roster by the end of the week.
Ooh, naughty.
I can't wait for your terrible offer you're going to send me. It's going to be, who's your package?
I'm not dealing with you. I'm dealing with other people right now.
Who's your package?
I have people knocking on my door.
Who's your package? J.K. Dobbins and who?
Olave.
Yeah, you're going to offer that for Justin
this little
Jefferson.
guy?
I know
Who's
it.
this guy? Oh, Brees Hall.
He ain't
No.
for sale.
I'm not going to go after Jefferson yet.
You want to.
You don't buy high. You
He's
buy
not
low.
high. He had a down week, dude.
He had a touchdown. What are you talking about?
Down week. 19 for him is a little low.
No, it's not. That's solid. For this year, expectations, they play one of the worst defenses in the NFL, led by Kayvon Thibodeau.
Whoa.
Whoa.
So I'll be hand up. We're in the middle of the Sunday Night Football game when Hutchinson hadn't done anything yet. I was like, I want to see what my boy did. So I went to
Same thought.
I went to ESPN, clicked on the Giants, and I was like looking at the stats. Had to scroll all the way down to the bottom. This recorded one single stat.
I know. I don't.
I couldn't believe it.
It's so funny you did that too. We were such sickos. I was like, I got to see what Kayvon did. And then I took that screenshot and I sat on that for the entire second half. I was like, if we lose, I'm going to eat this one. But if we win and he gets a sack, I'm firing this off. So that was my good night text.
I didn't even see that one.
It's a bad paragraph by a beat writer, Alex. I don't know if you
I
want
saw
to go
the
in there.
paragraph by the beat writer.
Oh, he got benched for a player in the second half. Oh, that was good stuff, though.
I was really hoping I saw like 2 sacks, 3 tackles for a loss. No, not once.
I thought he was injured. I was like, why is his name not on here? Did he sit out?
Got benched. Holy for Azeez Ojulari.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a huge day. We move, Hutchinson fans. All right, Alex. Weekly.
What?
We're gonna talk about Michigan State and Michigan lines like the normal football cadence. Alex, go ahead.
What?
What'd you do this week? Anything notable?
No. I had golf league on Thursday, indoor sim league back.
Hell yeah.
2 of our guys could not play, so we had to play 2-man scramble.
Oh, getting too cold down in Texas. You have to go back indoors.
No, it gets dark.
Got
like
him.
in Michigan, it's light out until 9:30. It's like it's dark right now.
False,
It's
Alex.
7:30.
It's 8:30 right now. It's dark. God damn it, Garrett Wilson's
I'm just saying, like in the summer,
Super
it's not
dark,
like light
confirmed.
out until 10, like Michigan. It's just not like that.
I get it. I respect it.
It's definitely not cold. It was 85 and sunny today, so
It was
Sunny and 75.
80 and sunny today. It's gonna be 80 for the next week and a half.
But
He almost
golf, sim league, 2-man instead of 4. Little tough. What do you guys think is a reasonable score for a 2-man scramble with myself and like a 12 handicap?
scored. How many holes?
9 holes.
Alex, I'm a 12 handicap.
6 under.
Okay, let's say 14 handicap. 12 to 14.
6 under.
6 under on 9 holes with 2 people.
9 holes should
Yeah.
be probably 3 or 4 under.
Your stick.
3. We bogeyed a par 3 because we 3-putted from 60
Oh
feet.
my God.
See,
There,
real life, if I was your partner on that, we would have
we
bogeyed.
two
I
putt.
would have
I would
parred.
have lagged that bad boy up there.
The thing is, though, in the whatever course we were playing, I don't remember. The putt was just straight downhill, 60-footer. So my partner goes first. He hits it pretty soft. I'm like, oh, that's got a chance. It rolled off the green like 100 yards away, like not even close. And I was like, all right, I'll just tap this thing. It's like, we're like on the fringe. So I tap it. It looks like it's not going to get to the green. Like, oh my God. It like half rotations over onto the green. That slow. Rolled all the way off 40 feet coming back. It was ridiculous. I was like, there's just no, like, you have to make it or else you have a 40-footer coming back. And you obviously didn't make the 40-footer.
You should have just stood there and hit that putt 15 times until you figured out exactly how it wanted you to hit it.
Yeah, I was
to see if it was rigged.
It's also a sim league, so I don't know how accurate it was, but we had 250 in on the last hole on a par 5, like behind some trees.
He dunked it.
And I hit a 3-wood over the trees and dropped it into like 4 feet. And I was like, I don't know if that really would have happened.
I am Scotty Scheffler.
But I ripped it. I'm like, wow, that's pretty good. But yeah, did that Thursday while I watched football.
So you lost your matchup?
Yeah. But it's like season-long standings of like your total scored a par. So I won longest drive, so I got a free shot. So I had to rip that.
What kind of shot?
I let the team decide. So no, just the other guy. He went with lemon drop, and it was just full vodka and I think a lemon. Like I don't think they understood what we wanted, and it was nasty. Like I almost gagged. I'm like, this is terrible.
That doesn't really help that much.
And then I had 3 nooners as well. Wow, I was a little buzzed.
3
nooners.
Try 22.
Yeah, tried 22 beers on
22
Saturday.
beers.
And then this weekend, I mean, yeah, I didn't do anything. It was embarrassing how much football and sitting around I did. So this weekend we're gonna get back at it, out in the wild. But not a good weekend for me, productivity wise.
Don't be embarrassed by that. That's what
I am.
it's for. Evan, any notable things?
Oh, notable things. Week? No, not really. I don't think I did too much. Drank, watched Thursday Night Football. Saturday went on just friends in the neighborhood, so I got to walk there, walk home. Just an all-day college football fest. Good time with company.
What was the Notre Dame reaction with the group of people? Was that cool when they blocked it?
Wasn't seen live.
Oh no, that would have been a great moment.
It would have been. I didn't know about it until I think like right before the 7:00 games. Nebraska and Colorado was like already playing, and then somebody was like, "Yeah, can you believe it? Notre Dame lost."
You didn't know that?
No.
You went like an hour and a half of your life
Without knowing?
Without knowing.
I'll be 100%
lost?
honest. I put my phone down during the Michigan State game, like had to go charge it inside, and I just went phoneless there for a while.
That's pretty sweet. I like that.
I had no idea what the score of the Notre Dame game was.
I thought people were joking. I was getting a lot of texts like, oh, Notre Dame's going to lose. Notre Dame's going to lose. And then we're in the middle of like a dogfight with Maryland. And Maryland's about to kick the field goal to go up 10. And I was like, I guess I'll change it over. So I changed it over to Notre Dame as right before that kick. Realized that was like when the spot was going on. Then I look at my phone. I have TV up, phone. on my phone. Maryland misses the kick, so then I was panicking, trying to switch back to the Michigan State game. Didn't switch back in time. Watched the 75-yard touchdown on my phone as Notre Dame is also losing at the same time. Full disaster.
For full context of that, how crazy that slate was, I was on the couch. I was working my magic. Had the 4 quad box up on the TV. I had MSU standalone game on the big TV for Marissa, and then I had laptop. I had ND on my laptop, and had ND, saw the spot debacle. Real time, Nick Marsh caught that touchdown pass as Northern Illinois blocked the field goal, and it was like such an electric moment of like didn't know where to look.
Going on.
Just
there was so much
screaming, and then flip like 30 seconds later, and Iowa State drills like a 60-yarder to win the Cyhawk Trophy.
I didn't see a second of that game.
I didn't see a second of the Iowa State game.
Bananas, like 15 seconds to a minute and a half of college football. It was like peak college football when like that the slate wasn't supposed to be that good, but it was just absolutely awesome during that stretch.
College football is just so much better. You never know what you're going to get.
It is certainly unpredictable.
I don't know. The slate this week, Evan, is pretty butt. You might not.
It's hard to find.
You're going to have to dig deep. But this weekend, Grant, you got to experience it. It felt like fall this weekend.
Yes, it did.
It was mid-60s, partly sunny, a little windy, a little breeze. Felt like football. It was good. And then Sunday, golfed early afternoon. Just the Lions played it later, so I went out and golfed and then sat on and buckled in for the 4:25 games and the evening game.
To Evan's point, it made me think about when you put your phone down to charge it. Again, everyone's getting feel because we're back into the first week of football. I feel like I'm on my phone like texting too much in chats during games. I think I need to be like every like quarter break I send something if I want to, but like I am checking too much and I need to just be more like Evan and throw it away from me. And because then you just, when you're looking at other people's thoughts during the game, you're already in like a more vulnerable state. You don't need to be influenced if people are like either saying we suck or we're great. Like you just kind of want to ride your own wave and then like pop in and out at times. So I'm going to try to work on that for the future weeks.
I just knew I had a lot of night left after that game to drink. So I was like, I need to put my phone down and charge it. Otherwise it's not going to happen.
I also just can't believe I'm just trying to picture you being there. It's like almost 7:00 and you're like,
Notre Dame lost.
That's basically how I reacted.
Rocky Lombardi.
Somebody just came in and said that, and I was like, dude, there was no way.
Wow. Similar to me, I didn't do a ton. This was like a relaxing weekend. Didn't do a lot. My mom and sister came up here to do some shopping for themselves on Saturday, so we got dinner with them, like kind of in the early dinner, almost like in the middle of the MSU game, and then we got back for the fourth quarter. So saw like pretty much the whole fourth quarter, but good weekend. Like Evan said, the weather was very nice. I think we had the screen door open like the entire weekend. Just the breeze was so good.
It felt so good. Windows open both nights. You walk downstairs and it is bone chilling cold in the house.
Yeah.
Bone chilling cold. I just didn't do anything about it.
You got some sniffles in your morning, get your nasal spray, and you just like get ready for the day ahead.
It's so good.
Yeah, without that, let's get into football. Winners and losers of the weekend. I know I made you cross out Texas and Michigan. So besides that, Evan, you get first pick. Who would you like to discuss?
My first pick. I would say because I was heavily cheering for him. As a non-biased way, I'm going to say one of the biggest winners of the weekend was Nebraska.
Yeah.
I'm not claiming that they're back. They beat Colorado. Colorado's always going to be overrated. But I think primetime, it was a must-win game for them to like catapult them in Rule's era. So I would say Nebraska's back by upsetting. Well, they were 7-point favorites, but I guess beating the brakes off of Colorado at home.
Colorado, I don't know if they're overrated, but they're definitely overly talked about. I just think like people talk about them way too much. We should make a vow that we're not discussing Colorado because they're not a factor in college football unless they like go are at like 4-2 or 5 and whatever. I don't know. There's just like they don't deserve that much airtime. They're a disaster of a team. They have bad body language everywhere.
They do.
Shador walked off with like 2 minutes left.
And
the
get
game.
checked for medical.
Because
Oh.
you don't have a head coach.
All right. Mine, we talked about, I'll get it out of the way, but like NIU winner and biggest loser has to be Notre Dame. In a weekend of like crazy stuff and close finishes, are we comfortable saying that they aren't going to make the playoff?
No, because they could win out and Northern Illinois could be that 12th team. So I would say confident.
Wow. What if Northern Illinois was the 12th
Right
team?
now, if
That's
the
crazy.
season ended, they would be the 12th team.
Yeah. I'm confident saying it because you have too many fatal flaws if you lose to Northern Illinois. Like, they will lose probably at least 2 more games.
Yeah, I'm confident thinking they're going to lose again.
And I do think if they lose a second game, they'll be out. I don't know, Evan, if you think the brand's still strong, but I think if one of your 2 losses is NIU, that probably you. With the amount of talent they'll be going for the 11th or 10th
2
spot.
losses there.
Yes. Yeah, and they can't afford to lose another game. They have the worst loss. They're going to have the worst loss of any ranked team.
Ever.
And not any really good wins.
All time.
And
USC
More than
would be-
Appalachian State.
I don't even think.
No.
Okay, I tried.
Northern Illinois is a respectable football
They
program.
were 28-point favorites.
Grant, they were a Power 5 school. You lost to an FCS school.
Right,
I'm not
but that-
saying you. I'm saying the University of Michigan did.
You can say me. That FCS school, Armani Edwards was a beast.
Northern Illinois.
I know.
They're not a bad.
I would say. I mean, they did the same thing last year. They lost to Marshall after beating somebody the week before.
Saw
Can't
something.
remember.
Marcus Freeman beats ranked teams and loses to non-power 4. And Brian Kelly beats all of the non-power 4, but never wins ranked games.
Who would you rather have?
So who would you rather have?
I don't know. Probably Brian Kelly.
I don't.
Embarrassing losses like that really suck.
They
They
do.
Yeah,
stick
do.
with you a long time.
I
The
think,
big wins are
I
awesome.
saw our text message in the group chat. It was like, to avoid everyone talking about Michigan, let's hope that Notre Dame loses. I don't know if that was
yeah.
you, Grant, or
Oh
some-
yeah, full court press. First it was Bowling Green, and then we had to move on to Northern Illinois.
I was fully cheering for Bowling Green to win that.
Well, we know you were.
He's like, they said he's right 20-9 right now. Freeman is.
His
As-
record.
Yeah.
I don't like talking about other dudes' jobs that are way more successful than me, but that felt like a loss that could be the beginning of the end at some point. Like, not immediately, but like, unless
you're laying the
next
foundation.
year, if next year they lose before week 5 or something, it's not good. Like, he probably has 1 more year to make the playoff with those losses he's stacked up, because you got Marshall in there. Obviously, they lost to a 3-9 Stanford team. That I saw that in a tweet too. Like, they've lost some clunkers of games in every year he's played. So not great. But the recruiting has been nice, and he does have swag. So I don't know. I don't think Notre Dame gives a shit about swag. They feel like an alumni base that like just wants Lou Holtz. You know, like they're fine with Lou Holtz.
True.
Alex,
Can I just go loser?
yeah,
It's like a double loser. It's gonna hurt.
is it going to be Evan?
Peyton Thorne and Auburn.
I put Auburn on my losers list.
Bad loss.
You saw that stat I sent you guys, right?
I refuse to look at it.
I
You
didn't.
didn't?
I think I got lost in my shuffle. Read it for us live.
Wait, let me pull
Was
it
that the
up.
stat that I said I'm not? You can't hurt me
You
today.
said you can't hurt me today.
Correct. You couldn't hurt me today. You could not hurt me on Saturday.
He also is such a, I don't know why the text made me laugh, but you just saying stop with an all exclamation point. Just like,
All right. Of Peyton Thorne's 13 starts for Auburn versus FBS opponents the last 2 years, he's now finished 11 of those 13 games with 165 passing yards or fewer.
well, he's a dual threat. Boom, debunked.
Do you remember the run versus
His
Alabama?
numbers,
Were you there, Alex?
Or Georgia? Was it Georgia? It was
his
Georgia.
numbers
It was Georgia.
in
It was
those
Georgia.
games: 125 yards per game, 15 touchdowns, 13 picks.
He's positive.
Oh, about a 1
And
for 1
just
ratio.
for-
Touchdowns. Alex rushing
just for
touchdowns on
those-
top of that.
Just for those who don't know, on Saturday, he against Cal, he was 14 of 27 for 165, 1 touchdown, 4 interceptions.
Just a nightmare of a home and home series for the Auburn Tigers.
They-
They were
And To make it worse for Herbstreit, I was watching a lot of game day since it was in Michigan. He was just hype. He's like, I think Auburn has the potential to surprise a lot of teams in the SEC this year.
Saban even says that he feels that Hugh Freeze will turn around at Auburn and do well.
Young receiving core. Well, they not to be mean, Evan, but like if they get rid of your guy, they could. They have the studs around him to compete. It's just they have Davis Warren playing quarterback.
Payton Thorne's better than Davis Warren.
We should have a quarterback off.
That would be a gross one.
I'll give Payton Thorne one start against USC in Maize and Blue just to see it. That'd be exciting. Do QB tryouts live, and Davis Warren can go down there and play some SEC school and see what happens. Okay, I got another one for winners overall college freshman wide receivers. I know this one get Alex hot and bothered, but the college freshman wide receivers right now, I don't know if it's recency bias, but it feels like it's like the quickest they've all like kind of looked awesome. Obviously, hometown, we have Nick Marsh.
Well, freshman of the country this week.
Yes. And then you have Auburn's receivers look good. Ryan Williams had a nasty touchdown to bail Alabama out of a game. Jeremiah Smith caught a little slant route and took it 70 yards past everybody on Western Michigan. This just seems like the freshmen. And then Texas's freshman Wingo had like a 55-yard run on an end around. Just looks like they're making impact plays all around the country. Fast, too, in week 2. So might be an all-time class coming up. I know we've said that about like every wide receiver class the last couple of years, but this class looks nice.
Yeah.
They get a win.
Can I add in almost winners?
Yeah, I guess if it's good.
Almost winners, the state of Idaho. Idaho took Oregon to the brink, and then Boise State took them to the brink. But
nice.
They almost winners.
I see
both
what you did
probably
there.
should have won. Both didn't.
Shout out potatoes.
Probably
Boise
good discussions.
State special teams loss. Losers. 2 returns in that game. You scored it.
They gave up 2 returns.
2. Yeah, I was watching. I was like, you gotta be kidding me.
You guys are just still talking about college football that late at night. I was like, I don't know how you guys are awake.
Well,
I got Central Time.
When I was falling asleep and Oregon coughed up the ball, I was really rolling over and they coughed up the ball and I was like, I guess I should watch one play. And Ashton Deanty, whatever, takes it to the crib for like 50 yards. I was like, oh my God, we have a ball game.
And then you turned it off or what?
I still fell asleep. It was so late. Like my eyes were just.
I think Oregon scored and then Boise State scored and then Boise State kicked it off and then Oregon cribbed it. And I was like, oh my God, this game is bananas. And then Boise State just kept messing up on.
Yeah, the over.
I have a quick loser for college, and then I have 1 or 2 for NFL. Kentucky football losers. They got absolutely dusted by South Carolina at home when they were like 10-point favorites. So that's crazy. I thought they've been a respectable program. That was an embarrassing loss for them. Oh, I bet on it, so I was like, that one stings when you bet on it. The winners, though. This is a personal one after what I saw with Michigan, Georgia, and Alabama, specifically Nick Saban and Kirby Smart. When you watch a team win a national championship, it's much more, you get more appreciation for the programs that Saban and Kirby Smart have built, that they just never feel like they get punked like that, ever. Like when Alabama gets got, they lose to Hendon Hooker and Tennessee on a last-second field goal in Knoxville, right? Like, fine, an acceptable loss. But, like, the level of dominance that Kirby Smart and Nick Saban have had over the last X amount of years is bananas. And you realize it more now, I am as a Michigan fan, watching your team get absolutely dusted at home the year after a championship. So, credit to them for the programs they've built and Kirby continuing to do.
Evan, you got called out in the fantasy football chat.
I did. I have read it. I'm ignoring it for right now. I'm working. I'm sorry.
Looks like Ben came to your defense. So.
Sorry, not the time.
Is it urgent? Or is it like a joke?
It's a Kayvon.
My last one's losers. Alex's fantasy team. Tough to score that many points and still lose your matchup.
Second most in the league. Loss.
And not even like you need to give more context, like 170 points essentially.
Yeah.
And going to be a loss. Like not just second and you scored like 120, you scored 170 points and are going to take an L. And that third place rule or the regular season rule didn't pass. So it doesn't help you at all.
Never got voted on, Grant. Never got voted on.
Your team's as good as mine after 1 week.
Points 4, though. I will at least have tiebreaker.
Tiebreaker later.
Right.
I was looking at my fantasy schedule too. I'm like, oh man, it could get dark. I could put up a bunch of points and lose a lot.
Really? You think your teams are
First
that
few
good?
weeks.
The last losers are Browns, Panthers, and Giants fans. Because, boy, I think your season's over. And I don't think there's hope for anything.
Loser, Deshaun Watson. God, he's garbage.
Yeah.
Garbage.
He's a bad person, and he should probably be out of the NFL.
He was on his backup tackles.
Winner.
Glass half full.
Analysis,
Bill
analysis
O'Brien.
7.
Jack Conklin didn't.
Bill O'Brien for making Deshaun look good in Houston.
You were really on this Bill O'Brien train. You're
Gotta
like,
hype
are you,
him up
high,
just
are you
in case-
paid by him?
Grant,
Is he
he's trying to
paid?
hype him up just in case we lose to him in 2 weeks.
When?
Smart.
8 o'clock
Yeah.
prime time.
Miller Moss is on.
ACC
I
Network.
think Miller Moss is the Heisman front runner after this last week against Utah State.
Quinn Ewers.
For shut
No,
up.
I
like
think
6
Miller
years.
Moss.
Quinn Ewers beat the best team in the
My
country
God.
on Saturday.
I'm doing the thing where I hype up the upcoming opponent.
Oh,
you
come on.
guys played them
smart.
too?
Missed that.
Smart.
Yeah.
Oh, totally went right over my head.
Week 4 is Michigan USC.
3:30
Correct.
on CBS. Brad Nessler.
And
Gary
then-
finally gets a game.
And then we get to watch Michigan State, Boston College. What a day for the state of Michigan.
At 8
What an
p.m.
A!
2 ranked games. Wow. Boston College officially ranked as of today.
No shit. Are they
No,
actually?
they're not.
24th.
They are
No
ranked
way.
today. Holy
But
shit.
they play Missouri. They play Missouri.
They do
on
play
Saturday.
Missouri this week.
Oh my god.
That's
You'll
on
learn a
SEC
lot about
Network.
him.
I think I put that in the pool this week.
No, you didn't.
Michigan,
Pool's
Boston
closed.
College, Missouri. I think I
You
put it
did
in
not put that in the pool. I already
Swim
picked the
season's
games.
over.
I think I picked the games 30 seconds after you posted it.
I
You
can't
are
swim
usually
this
the
year.
first. I always look. I'm like, oh, Evan is on his phone because he made his picks already.
Yep. Might as well.
Side note, the NFL sideline hats this year are awesome. I just want to
Evan,
get that
it's
out
in
there.
there. Missouri
Evan,
minus
what?
16.
I hate them.
Why don't you like them?
The hats with the little stripe right in front of the logo. Like the
No,
hats
it's like
with the
the-
stripe right here.
It's the no. It's the little rope, and then it's a circle.
Oh, those hats. That's fine. But the Dan Campbell's hat that he wore on Sunday
Oh,
Night
yeah.
Football, that hat needs to get burned.
Yeah, that's not a great hat. The rope hats with the little circle emblem look
Oh,
pretty
yeah, I
cool.
like those.
Can I add one more weird loser?
Sure.
It might be a
Idaho.
winner.
Alex.
Watching Jim Harbaugh do the QB thing to Justin Herbert, and then Herbert not really knowing what was happening.
Very
Yeah,
uncomfortable.
I didn't get to
that
see
made
that.
me uncomfy. I wanted
He
to text
either-
the chat about that, but I didn't know how to say it.
He either didn't know what he was going to do, or he hates Jim Harbaugh already. And I don't.
Yeah.
I'd like to think he just didn't know.
It's like
the
Herbert
best.
went for the hug, and then Jimmy hugs him, and then Jimmy wants to do his little like punch
On the
thing,
back.
and then Herbert's like, "What the are you doing?" It's super weird. Oh, I hated every second of it.
Everything
maybe
I've heard
uncomfortable.
about Justin Herbert is that he would be the opposite quarterback and personality that would like Jim Harbaugh as his coach. Like he's very
That's-
reserved and like doesn't. But they won and they're gritty. And J.K. Dobbins winner back.
Just trying to get him to sell.
You can buy
high
it now.
this week.
You can buy it
Sell
now.
high. Sell high.
He did look good though. He did look
Gus
good.
Edwards is going to be the guy soon.
Bro,
Winner.
I tell you what a loser is. This is the night games on Saturday.
You're jumping
Jesus
ahead? Or are you talking
Christ,
about
I'm
this
jumping
week?
ahead.
Oh, pre-losers.
Well,
These
when
are
college
all
game day is
losers.
South Carolina LSU, you know it's a bad week.
Like, find something to do Saturday evening with your significant other because it is a snooze fest of college football games.
Oh, sneaky though. Friday night, little Kansas State, Arizona could be
Yeah.
naughty.
On the slate,
And in the words of people saying you only get a certain amount of college football games to watch, but I don't think I'm watching Saturday night. I think I'm
I'm
going to go
not.
do something else.
I'm gonna go buy some dress shirts because I've outgrown
at
mine.
night,
No, during the day on Saturday.
Saturday night though, like what we get our
Toledo,
Game of Thrones
Mississippi
rewatch
State.
on. Oh,
No,
Toledo's
what's the headlining game? There's got to be at least something.
No,
There isn't.
there isn't.
You want to hear them? I'll rifle them off for you. This is
Yeah.
good podcasting. Here we go. 6:30 on the CW network. Hopefully you have it. Ole Miss
Everyone
was on the
does.
road versus Wake Forest.
Oh,
That's actually
Wake Forest
mean.
at home.
Why would
That's
they be on
sold out.
CW? That's a politics network.
Wake Forest
Ole
blew a
Miss.
14-point lead.
Heisman
UTSA.
winner Jackson Dart.
UTSA versus Texas on ESPN.
Could be sneaky.
They're, UTSA is what it was.
Roadrunners are
Letdown
tough.
spot. They've been bad this year though.
7:30 primetime. Georgia at Kentucky.
Oh, ask Alex to guess the spread on that game. Or do you see the spread,
Alex.
Evan?
Yep, I see it. It's right here. According to
It's-
ESPN, bets the spread is.
It's insane. It's insane.
Georgia minus what?
40.
Okay.
7.
Okay.
Alex,
they still are college athletes.
They're an SEC team.
Cut that in half.
31 and a half.
24.
24? That's not enough.
But compare that to Georgia is favored as much as Notre Dame was against NIU. And Georgia's on the road.
Oh, my God, Grant, here you go. I know what you're doing Saturday night. You're watching your boys in IU go on the road to UCLA.
Oh, my God. NBC. It's the game of the week. No, Peacock standalone game, Evan. Please.
It says NBC/Peacock.
Oh, yeah, it's a Peacock standalone, I think.
They removed it from NBC because how
that's
bad
on NBC. That is NBC football.
Oh, it's Eagle.
Yeah, that's that game.
There are no
Connor is so nervous about that.
Eric Bieniemy, offensive coordinator for UCLA.
What the?
If IU doesn't win that game, I also have UCLA minus or under 4.5 wins on the year. So that's a huge game for me overall.
What do I do Saturday night? This is disgusting.
You watch UCLA IU, Kevin. We're anti-Indiana.
That's your dynasty school.
We're anti-Indiana.
I'm not watching that shit show.
Game of Thrones rewatch. Fired up Saturday.
I could watch the last 3 episodes.
I want to do Lions Rams. We'll start with NFL.
I had one more winner.
Okay, God, how many can you have?
So this offseason, as voted on by the NFL players, Josh Allen was voted most overrated player in the league. So winner, Josh Allen, for backpacking his team to victory.
Good call, Alex. Loser,
the haters
Evan,
were out early,
not
though.
buying Mrs. Fantasy quarterback.
How did he go for $11?
Quarterbacks were just not.
I didn't put my hand up, right? I'm stupid.
I got
who went for the
AR-15.
most? We're talking about Lions-Rams win on Sunday Night Football, 26-20 in overtime. Evan slept through it all, but we're going to catch him up. Lies.
Pain.
We pulled it out. Alex, let's start with you, I guess. Your overall thoughts on this game? Anything that stood out to you? Your panic level after week 1? Choose your own adventure.
Okay, well, I'll choose my own adventure. Second question. Panic level, 0. No panic. None.
Same.
0. Zilch.
Same.
Nada.
Evan, panic?
No.
Okay, good.
As this podcast has said many times, and as I have said, we do not apologize for wins. And winning in the NFL is hard. So no panic. 1-0. Other things, staff god. He's good. He's a really good football player.
He's not
really
the
good quarterback
in the league.
Yeah, I think it's loser of the week, Connor.
Yeah.
Best ability is availability. Never forget it.
I think it's fair to say that Stafford is much better than Goff, but the Lions won the trade. We agree?
Yes.
They won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but we got Goff, Gibbs, Laporta, J-Mo, all in that deal.
I can never call it a win-win until we win a Super Bowl. It'll be a win-win when we win our Super Bowl.
February.
So this year, yes.
So yeah, Stafford was Stafford. Some negative things. Tackling. Poop.
Our guy, but Brian Branch had a tough
Brian
game.
Branch, not his best game.
New position.
He's not a bad football player. Cam.
Yes, new angles.
Out there listening. Saw a text that you sent that you were very upset about Brian Branch. I think he'll be fine. He's had a bad game.
Yeah, I wrote that too. We need to work on it, but I feel good that it will get corrected because I've seen him be a great tackler last year.
No worries.
He's fundamentally sound. Just angles got to work on.
Other things, our guys don't play in preseason. Showed a little bit.
Mm.
Not saying the Dan should play them in the preseason because we've gutted out 2 week 1 victories in a row. So I think it's fine. But that could explain a little rust. Last thing for me is Goff's interception. I am not putting the full blame on Goff there. I refuse.
Do it late across the middle. Look down the free Roman safety over Frost.
But Amenard could have caught that, and sometimes I would have expected he would. And he was also the lowest graded player on our team, which is a little surprising. We're only PFF guys when we like the stat, but he was the lowest graded player on the offense.
Monroe was?
Yeah. Him and Goff.
Well, I'll only go up then, I guess.
Happy for the win.
There was something you said towards the end there that I thought I wanted to piggyback off of.
Goff's pick, tackling, preseason.
We're also kind of, maybe it made me think of that, but we're also, sorry. Ooh, got 2 different thoughts going on in my brain. Preseason, offense was down, I heard today, across the league entirely. I wasn't looking at box scores after games, but there was only one quarterback who even threw for more than 300 yards. Could you name that quarterback?
Hold on. I'll get there eventually.
Was it an AFC South game?
Oh my God! Is it Derek Carr?
Oh,
No.
it is.
He threw for 4 touchdowns.
Because they ran so much. It
That's
was
Baker
Tua.
Mayfield.
Oh,
Tua.
Tua.
Baker was like 6 yards away.
Oh,
Shout
It helps
Baker.
when you throw a 80-yard touchdown to Tyreek Hill.
Yeah. So I think that goes to your point about rust. The offenses, I don't think any offense that I watched was like lighting it up. Even the highly touted Texans were making mistakes in their game. So I think we are fine. We are kind of week 1 injury merchants. If I was looking at us from a national perspective, going back to the Chiefs last year with
knock on wood, Graham.
No, I'm seeing teams we play just like not at their
No
one.
Kelsey, no Chris Jones.
Usually when you play week 1, you're
best versus best.
Healthy.
Yeah, and Chiefs had Chris Jones, Kelsey out, and then everybody on the Rams was out, basically. I was just, essentially, Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp had me in a torture chamber for 3/4 of this football game, and they were playing probably some of the best football I've ever seen. Between two people. It was crazy.
Just solo cooking.
It almost was like
and
so
Evans
ridiculous.
Guy Tyler Johnson. What a run by that guy.
Yeah.
Because we couldn't
The revive of his career.
Is he from Minnesota?
Yep.
He
Row the
was
boat,
on
guy,
the-
go Gophers.
The good row the boat team.
God,
2019.
Him and Rashad
PJ
Bateman.
Fleck propagandist that you just rip all that off. Yeah, crazy. Positive though from the negatives that we did win a game without much from Laporta and Amon-Ra. So that is good going forward that we can win that game.
He said in the documentary that it bothers him when people say her mama.
I don't want to get my ass beat. Amon-Ra. Okay. So that was good. Montgomery's a badass.
Levi Onwuzurike All-Pro.
Maybe. He had, definitely had a nice
Marcus
sack.
Davenport, good game. It is crazy that
he's
you
good.
go up to the offensive line and you say, hey, we're running the ball down this team's throat. Do something about it. And they took it to heart. The national media is all over it today.
That drive.
They're undressing
brought out-
themselves over it.
They are.
It brought out so much emotion. You just feel so good when your team does. I wanted to punch someone. I was just so angry and happy at the same time. It was crazy.
I'll say the most important play, I think, on that drive was the Khalif Raymond first play.
Yeah,
I missed.
To get it going.
I missed. You got to start off hot. You got to get positive momentum. Can't go backwards. And we got a first down, 11 yards on the first play.
Also, was Penny when he's just standing there going, is he just slapping ass like he's telling you he's giving you a spanking? Was that the celebration?
They posted that, and I was like,
I think I'm
he's
spanking that ass, and I was like, yes, that is good.
Yeah, I think he was.
I mean, that was all over TV, all over Twitter. I was like, wow, they're just letting this rip.
Because J-Mo almost got hurt in the game. Did anyone think he broke both his legs when he scored that touchdown?
Yeah, I was like, oh my god. Just crumbled up like a piece of paper.
He tried to jump, but they got tackled. I think he jumped, so he landed on both of his knees.
His knees just. It's like, oh my god, he looks like a deer.
He's like a one-of-one player that I've ever watched in my life.
Bubble wrap.
Yeah, he is something else. But yeah, Alex, he didn't get 2 touchdowns, but he damn near might as well. Oh, unreal season debut from J-Mo. And not unbelievable, but an unreal season debut from J-Mo. That was
He's not your Tiger until you have his jersey.
I am still in the market.
Huh?
True. You need a jersey.
Feels disrespectful for me to not get JG, but
I mean that was against Tre'Davious White too. That was
I
one
get
of
a
the
custom jersey
corners
and
in the
Waymo
NFC
on the back.
That'd be cool. You definitely get beat up and someone would steal that from you because it's such a hot.
Do you guys watch the clip of him watching back his touchdown? Oh, yeah, you sent it. Oh,
yeah, he
my
made the
God.
sound effect. I can't get enough of it.
Oh, my God. So
Stop
good.
playing with the kid. Waymo. Lies win.
You got you watch his after the game interview on the field?
I heard a little bit.
I was already laying in bed.
Yeah.
Oh my God. He was so juiced up. He's like, man, the Lions won. I'm just so happy, man. He was like the greatest day of his life. I was like, this is a good moment. Good moment for the kid. Happy for him. He's had a long journey.
Long journey.
For a
Partially his own fault.
Yeah, no, he made a lot of mistakes.
I don't really have much else besides that. The offensive line
Lions Rams? I feel like there was one guy you're going to talk about who had a just all Madden type of performance, you know?
Oh, that we talked about all night in the chat? Yeah, I guess Aiden Hutchinson. It's just, I forgot how intense the battles can get in the chat. I realize it's more me. I can't make everyone understand
let go. Sometimes
I have to. So Evan and Cody, they love sacks. They are huge sack guys, and they are important. Don't get me wrong. But I was at least thankful in this game that we had an analyst like Chris Collinsworth who continually would show the impact he had outside of sacks, most notably on that.
That's one way to put it. There's another way you could put it too.
What?
Collinsworth TV for 3 hours? Yes. That's the other way you could put it.
Yes. No, we needed that, though. We appreciated that. Fellatio.
Hutchinson getting dominated by the backup tackle, and then when the third string Michigan State.
Did he ever get dominated?
Is quite the word.
Never got dominated.
Yes, I watched 2 run plays in a row where he was 4 yards behind, like the opposite direction of him getting dominated.
I player watched him most of the time.
A lot of the run plays at him where he was getting absolutely bowled.
Evan.
Yes.
Evan.
He didn't record a tackle until halfway through the second.
Just hear me out. He's vital to our defense, and he's very good, and he is making impacts left and right.
Against a third string tackle.
Fair.
You and Cody
he did have
just
a big impact.
Complaining the entire time that he didn't have sacks and didn't get him on the ground. He's being held. He's getting in there. He's causing. He's doing the best he can. And Stafford is just good. Call. He got held at least twice.
2. The second one was
2 in a row.
There was one that wasn't called as well.
The one he missed the sack, his arm was hooked around his body. He couldn't wrap up.
And he got tripped on one. He got tripped on one.
Yeah. I was wondering what happened on that live. I was like, why'd he fall down? And they go back and just stuck his leg out. And I was like, come on.
If he didn't go to Michigan, Evan, you would like him a lot.
No, he's overrated.
No, you admit your bias, and then we can all move on.
What are we rating him as? He's not TJ Watt. If anyone calls him TJ Watt, they're wrong. TJ Watt's a different animal.
He's a very good player to have on your team.
He's not Myles Garrett. He's not.
It's like top 10.
He's not Nick Bosa.
He's not Max Crosby.
He's not Max Crosby. But like
Max
when we're talking about
dominated by Joe Alt
he's not Micah Parsons.
He's like 7.
Like if we're talking the guy from the Bengals, Hubbard. I mean, he's easily in that tier. He's like the next tier. He's trying to make that leap. Okay. And with DJ Reader coming back too.
I agree with that. I 100% agree that he is good. I'm not denying that he is bad.
He had a good game.
Yeah, I 100% agree he had a good game. But act like he's a freaking world beater when he's facing a third string tackle, and that tackle went to.
Whoa! Sean McVay said that after the game, AJ Arcuri played very well.
That was nice of Sean to say that.
Yeah.
He got beat a lot.
He did not play very well.
Live on SportsCenter that he played well. I do agree with Evan. Some of the Michigan blowhards make it seem like Aiden Hutchinson's the best edge rusher to play in this league ever, which is too far. And then Evan and Cody are...
Is he really the 22nd best player in the NFL? That's absurd. He's not.
Evan, do you ever remember
the NFL 100 list? I can't defend that. That's just
7
players.
Pass rushers in front of him. That's at one position.
Evan.
Yeah, I'd have to really sit down and look at a list. But he's pretty important, like Alex said, to our defense. He makes it hum.
The rest of the league and the rest of national media think he's good, it's not just because he went to Michigan. Not in the NFL. It's not like that.
There's NFL. There's Michigan.
If you're good in the NFL, you're going to be talked about. That's just true.
He only had 5 tackles. It's really not that many.
Yeah,
edge rushers aren't filling up
counting stats, but
tackles.
To a little point, like Chris Collinsworth, like that play that would have iced the game to Cup. Like he's the reason Stafford can't step up into a throw. He's not making the tackle, but he's making Stafford uncomfortable the entire game.
I don't think Stafford gets uncomfortable based off of the throw that he made before that.
True. Yeah, maybe that's the wrong
true,
word.
But any other quarterback and Aiden Hutchinson's causing them to play. If that was Caleb Williams back there running around for his life, we would have won easily.
Well, we get to witness that twice.
Well, he'll probably be good. He'll probably be good by that time.
He will be good on Thanksgiving against us. We know that.
Probably. But to my point, I don't put nearly as much stock in people's colleges in the NFL, I feel like, as our immediate friend group does. So I'm trying to just view it. Obviously, I have a soft spot for Hutchinson, so I can't say that there's no bias there. It's more just I feel like I have to defend him. But I don't like if he went to Michigan State and he was good, I don't know. I feel like I wouldn't try to hold anything against him. Because I feel like once you get to the pros, your college doesn't matter.
I think it's only helping him that he went to Michigan. It's not hurting him.
Yeah, at least for the local fan base.
You.
No, Evan said he's got a good game. He had a good game.
He had a good game.
Would you have liked to see more? Sure. But
I mean, if we scrutinize one player like that, like every player like that, we'd probably hate everyone.
You can't question how hard he tries. He never goes 50%.
It looks like he's out of shape for how much he just.
There was a couple times he did look like he was way too tired. I was like, come on.
Dude, he played a lot of snaps for an edge rusher. When we scratched James Houston, I was thinking, well, Hutch has got to play almost like 90% of the snaps. We don't have any edge
James
rushers.
Houston, that dude is irrelevant to the big picture.
Used him on some third down.
Oh, we couldn't have. He's not good.
We need him versus Caleb Williams.
I mean, he costs $5. It doesn't matter. You act like we're paying James Houston a max contract in the NBA.
I'd rather pay a backup guard than James Houston right now.
I think we're paying James Houston under $1 million.
You'd rather pay Colby Sorsdahl than James Houston.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, I guess, yeah, one's being... Well, I think they both got healthy scratched.
Yeah, they're both practice squad.
Oh. What I honestly think would be the funny story arc of this season is like next week to Hutch have 3 sacks, but they're all like bullshit sacks where the quarterback slides in front of him, and then we can just wrap up the sacks numbers and be like, see, he's getting the sack.
There's somebody that had this sack. Oh, maybe it was a college football game.
There's some that are gross.
It was the Michigan game. Mason Graham got a sack, but Quinn was trying to step up. He's trying to step up in the pocket, and he got tackled like right in front of the. So technically, college is technically a sack because the quarterback had it.
Yep. Yeah, we need some of those. But with all that being said,
his one sack was a garbage time sack. Wasn't it at the end of the half or at the end of the game?
It was the last play of the game, which they could have gotten field goal range. It was a big play. It felt like it because Stafford was doing anything he wanted.
That wasn't a nothing sack, Evan. God damn it. Get over your vendetta against
field goal range on the last play of the game.
There were like 15 seconds left on like the 35. They definitely could have got across.
He threw an absolute dime.
They had to throw the ball 45 yards to get field goal range.
He threw an absolute 40-yard dime to Cooper Kupp on the sideline. He toe dragged. I saw it.
It was a big sack.
10 minutes left in the game.
Just admit you hate him because he went to Michigan, and then we can all move on.
I don't hate him. I said
yes, you do.
I hope
he makes you physically angry.
When you look at him. Yes. Do I hate him? No.
I don't know why you can't just like get over it and root for him to be good.
Because the media can't get over it of what school he went to.
God damn it, Evan! Who cares about what they think? We just want the team to be good. So if he's good, we're good. We should be on that train.
I said that multiple times.
It's just you don't want to root for him.
Who's the media that chaps you? Who's the media that chaps you?
I don't know.
Is it Bob Wojnarowski?
That guy's.
That's who he hates.
Yeah, but who says Hayden Hutchinson in the media that you're like, oh, I don't like
Detroit
Hayden Hutchinson
News
because
did you subscribe to that?
You read the Detroit News.
The social media posts on Twitter. You follow Detroit Free Press, Detroit News, all that stuff.
You gotta unfollow that.
Yeah,
I think you do.
Follow that. I don't get it. I just don't get it.
Chris Collinsworth on national TV.
Worth it.
So a Lions player were mad about it?
We used to pray for times like this.
No.
We did.
No. Hide in the shadows. There's better players on the team.
You're letting colleges get the best.
He only had 5 tackles. It's not like he had that big of a game.
He had a nice game. An impactful one.
Pressure's a worthless stat. Don't give a shit.
They're not worthless if the quarterback gets rattled and throws a shitty
but the
pass.
pressures don't count. Okay, the pressure's not going to count for all the good throws that the quarterback
we're
also
not doing this week one. We're not doing this week
we are.
one. We're moving on.
That's worthless.
You should have. Evan already said he had a good game. That's all we needed.
I just couldn't believe it. I just can't. It's hard for me to process this. I'm a diehard Michigan State fan, and I
had a good game against their third string backup. Good job.
This is just the standard you hold him to, Evan.
The way
BUCS have a good left tackle, don't they? Isn't it worse?
And I guarantee he's not going to line up against him. He's going to line up on the opposite side because he can't do it.
Smart coaching.
You're running away from competition.
See, you're already hating on him. He hasn't even played a snap in this game.
How many snaps he lines up against Tristan Wirfs, and I guarantee it's under 10.
I hate myself for asking this question, but in your mind, does it actually matter if he gets 3 sacks against the right tackle? Does it matter that he didn't line up?
Why would it
He ain't
matter?
getting 3 sacks in a freaking football game all year.
Answer the question.
He's not
I don't know
getting 3
why you
sacks.
hate him this much.
That would be good coaching.
Why do you hate him this much? He didn't
I
even
don't hate
beat
him
us.
this
We beat
much.
them.
Like,
What?
wouldn't you want? Okay, flash forward to October 26th.
Oh.
Wouldn't you rather have Jonathan Smith, Chris Bogle against Evan Link on the right tackle, who got bull rushed against Texas, as opposed to Miles Hinton on the left side? I think you want your coach
I
to put
honestly
your best
could
player.
care less about who's in front of me on the Michigan offensive line because they can't do much of anything right now.
That was a bad question, I guess. Would you rather your coach put your best defensive player on the worst offensive player? Or would you rather be like, you know what, I want to see if he can just win a battle on paper and go up against the best?
I want him to win a battle up on paper because I'm more worried about the rundowns and then the pass situations.
Well,
I don't get it. But we'll do this again next week. We'll see if we can break you.
we already did. He said he had a good game. That's all you needed. Hopefully he has a good game against the Bucks.
Just got to chip away.
The Lions are 6.5-point favorites, which
Oh,
kind of
that's
stood out
big.
to me. Yeah, same reaction. Kind of stinky. Kind of like, whoa. Over under 48.5 points. Implied total of 27 to 21 range. I feel like this line should be like 3.5, 4.5.
I think the line's up to 7 now. Just FYI.
Oh my god. So Vegas thinks we're just going to bounce back.
Well, in fairness, I don't know if you guys watched the Buccaneers game, but like 2 of their
Their whole
starting
players
corners
injured.
died on the field.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
And
they
Tomlin
have no
filled us out.
secondary.
So
Their entire secondary is out.
do
And
we think?
Waymo.
Do you think this is a get right for the offense? Do we think we get 30 points
to
in
be
this
honest,
game?
I don't know what the score of the Commanders game ended up,
Yeah.
but the Commanders missed 2 field goals, so they should have 6 more points.
Yeah. Commanders
Okay.
moved the ball pretty well.
Baker did look good. He seems like a quarterback that may not do that week to week. So that makes me feel better.
He was, I think the stat line ESPN put up was like he was 13 for 17 with like 150 some yards and 2 or 3 touchdowns against man coverage.
It's a good test for our secondary against
Oh, and
Evans,
breaking news,
Godwin.
Mike Evans, still good at football.
Yeah,
Hall of Famer.
he's-
Still
Just a
good
Hall
at
of Fame
football.
receiver.
Evans, Godwin, Jalen McMillan. I think he scored a touchdown.
Yeah, he did.
So it'd be a good test for the
Revenge
secondary.
game. Carlton Davis versus his old team and them versus
Draft
him.
he doesn't get
Lions
knocked
up
out
to
by a-
7-point favorites.
by a ball.
Got to think Mike
Carlton
Evans
doesn't
has
get the win
100
knocked out of
yards.
him.
One time I would like to see Aaron Glenn like go all out to stop their best player and just see if we can
Yeah,
do
he
it.
doesn't want to do that. That's just
Because-
not what he does.
Again, we got absolutely cooked by Mike Evans last year in the playoff game. Like, it'd be cool if our DC made an adjustment and was like, we're not going to let you beat us. If Chris Godwin and Jalen McMillan each have 85 yards, totally fine. Beat us that way. Alex, you'd like that for fantasy purposes. But
Godwin's good. Good player.
let's just one time take away their best player. That's what I would like to see from this game.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Third down defense should be a little better as well. Some better coaching there. We just never get off the field.
Typically, if we're thinking about last year with the Bucks, again, I don't know what the status of their team is fully, but this is more of a Gibbs and JMO and Amon-Ra type game because they really muck you up with Montgomery and like they're tough in the middle. I feel like historically
We didn't have Gibbs and Montgomery last year against the Bucks
for the regular
in
season.
the regular
one.
season game.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm thinking of like
Playoff
Gibbs'
game, we
playoff
scored
game
pretty
was like-
with ease.
was Gibbs City, like that touchdown he had. Like I think we got a few
Jared Goff
gifts
the
more.
first 3 drives.
Jared Goff's perfect pass to Amon-Ra in the
Oh.
corner of the end zone.
Yeah, that
Still
was
have-
sick.
Still have dreams about that.
Slot fade.
Waymo had a
Pylon.
touchdown against them last year in the regular season, so book him scoring again.
I'll do a prediction of 28 to 20 Lions.
31-21 Lions. I think the offense gets it.
7-18 Lions.
27 to 18. All right. If we score 30 on Alex's prediction, I'll feel really good about our offense after 2 weeks because that'd be nice against the Bucks. I respect them defensively.
Their second is cuckooed right now.
Got to think we get 1 interception against Baker.
I think we're going to get pressure on Baker. He's
Yeah,
gonna make a mistake.
97.
Davenport.
DJ Reader appearance too. So our run game.
Davenport bull rushing someone on the outside was satisfying to watch.
Yeah, that's his only move. He's got one track.
It's a good move.
He's
it's a
he's
good
still
move
a
that
chunky
works.
boy. He is not his rookie
He's a
self.
big, thick dude, but
He kind of just
moves.
It's like every 5 plays, he built up his stamina, like in like a video game, to be able to do a full bull rush. Yeah. I think we should get the Michigan game out of the way. Not like dismissing it, but I think we should dive into that and then end on a positive note with Michigan State going into the weekend ahead. You want to go first, Alex? Oh,
How about I pose questions for you?
Sure.
I would like one statement first before Alex poses his questions.
Me too.
Please,
you go
Evan,
first, and
the
then
floor.
me. I'll give a statement.
Well, I just have one quick sentence, one quick line, is that reality check hits hard and is best served cold.
I feel like that's from a movie.
It's 2 quotes into one.
It's a poet. Mine is, let me be the first to tell you that Michigan will not repeat as national champions.
Oh, that's big of you, Grant. Good job. Way to get out in front of that.
Just in case anyone hasn't said the obvious. That was the clue.
Wow. I mean, I don't even know what to say now.
We can't skip over any parts. We got to break it down one by one.
Okay. Question number 1 for both of you. These will be for both of you.
Oh, I have.
Okay.
Damn it.
You want one more statement?
Yes.
Okay.
Can we now do our top 10 quarterbacks in the Big Ten ratings right now?
I don't know 10 quarterbacks in the Big Ten, I don't think.
Can we now do our top 8 quarterbacks in the Big Ten?
Off my head. I don't know about the order, but I could probably get.
I just have a feeling Michigan's quarterback's not going to be on this list.
I would agree.
I don't know.
Luke Altmaier is playing better ball than him right now.
Luke Altmaier. I think Dylan Raiola might be the 3rd best quarterback in the Big Ten.
In Chili's.
Oh, my bad. Well, he's got 4 turnovers.
Okay. You ready for the questions now?
Yeah.
Yes, I am.
Over, under
Under.
7.5 wins.
Oh. Well, that feels bad. USC's beating them. So
Over.
They're 2-2. 4. Oh, my God. They lose to Michigan State. Oh, my God. They're 7-5. Under.
Okay. Second question. Who do you blame more for this game result? Davis Warren or Sharon Moore?
I blame whoever's in charge of the transfer portal and whoever's running the roster moves and roster management.
Head of shop. That's why I said Sharon. So
Yeah, I'll do Sharon, but I think I lean more towards Kurt Campbell. But it's Sharon's. It goes up to Sharon.
Okay.
It's whoever the NIL booster is saying that we're not playing any payers until they earn it on the field. If you didn't have that mindset, you could buy any football player, any college quarterback that you want on the transfer portal.
Third question for Overreaction Monday.
Yes.
Does Jaden Davis start a football game, if that's his name? Does he start a football game for Michigan this year?
No. Do you lose your red shirt if you start?
Nope.
No, you get to play
4 games, Grant.
Can you start and play a full game?
Yes. Grant. Where have you been?
4 games.
Wake up. You have a podcast.
Gosh, you lived under a rock. It must be
I don't
nice
ever
to
worry
win a
about
national championship.
I don't worry about red shirts. I mean, it doesn't really matter.
God.
Why do you want him redshirted?
I just think that was the plan for him
Looking
going
forward
into
to
the year.
2028, Alex.
So, what do we think? No?
I'm looking forward to next year. Yeah, we're starting to plan for next year.
No?
No, I don't know. Unless there's injuries, I don't think they're going to rush him onto the field. Too big of a schedule.
Next
Too many
question,
games.
I think, is pretty obvious. Just a little victory lap for myself. Is Donovan Edwards a bad running back? He got benched in the second half.
He has.
Did he actually?
Yeah, he got benched.
Well, they
What's
rotate.
his PFF grade, Alex?
They rotate
Please
drives.
give it to me.
I don't have a PFF subscription.
Alex, they rotate.
Oh, I'm sure
He
you could
started
find
the
it
whole
on
first
Twitter.
half.
I saw one stat that was
He
mind-boggling.
almost broke a touchdown, and I quivered in my seat.
I don't know how he doesn't. I
My-
don't get how he doesn't break that tackle. That's
My
the frustrating part.
boots
How do you
were
not break that
Because,
tackle?
Grant, I just said he's a bad running back.
He's got bad vision. I also think this goes back to the Kurt Campbell answer. I don't think the offense is using the players. They're not maximizing people's strengths. That's
Grant,
probably the
You
best
guys
way
want to
say
hear?
it.
Great, you know why? This is why.
Second half highlights.
It's because of the ability for your quarterback. every team from here on out is going to stack the box and risk them man-to-man. Or they're going to play a one-high man.
Grant, trust me, we know bad offense.
Oh, we know bad offense.
Do you want to hear the Don's second half stats?
Yes, I do.
The game's over, though, Alex. Like, that doesn't matter.
Do you want
The
to hear
fact
them?
that Gus Johnson was calling him the
You
Don
can
when they're
say
down.
that, but I don't.
And had 0 carries, 0 yards, 1 starting spot lost, 5 high fives, and 10 water bottles filled. The cover athlete of NCAA 25.
And one
Yeah.
B
He sucks.
tweeted out.
I
His
fear,
first-
as a Michigan fan once told me, he is dookie balls.
That boy Dookie.
Dookie.
Who told you that?
He got a baby diaper dookie in his pants, bro. That boy Dookie.
He did not have a great game. I mean, his
That boy
first half stats
Dookie.
weren't bad. He did miss some holes, but like his first half was not bad.
That boy Dookie. Next question. What was something positive you took away from this game, Grant?
I
Besides the
think
kicker.
Mullins. Yes, kicker. Khalil Mullins still looks good.
Better than that Dookie boy.
Not saying that. I just think Mullins does
I
add a
am.
nice piece.
Said it last week, too.
Okay. Ben
Dookie
Hall,
boy
the-
victory lap right now.
Dookie boy just seems mean. How many times do you have to say it?
Well, bro is Dookie.
He's just not being used right. I don't know if we have time to go down that rabbit hole, but like you're
Yeah, I
asking
said
him to
last
run.
week, put him in the slot.
You're asking him to run between the tackles in like powers and counters, and that's just not what he's built to do.
Because he's dumb.
It's
Can't
not
find
really
a hole unless it
like-
hits him in the face.
Yeah, it's just in every player, like there's a lot of players in college football that aren't perfect. He's not. He has elite traits that can be used in a positive way. They're just continually using him in not a positive way. There's not really any creativity, and they've had him for 3 seasons now.
Like, is
4.
he an NFL running back? I don't think so.
I can promise
He's not
you,
playing running back in the NFL.
there are smarter NFL minds that could find use for him on a football field than what we're currently doing.
We play running back. No.
But like, again, if you run outside zones with him and you run swing passes with him, he can play a role. He could be your scat back in the NFL.
Yeah, but he
Has great hands. He's a great receiver.
Yes, I said put him in the slot a week ago, and no one listened.
I don't think he can run Amon-Ra level routes. Level routes in the NFL.
He doesn't need to run routes like that in college football.
No, but I thought I was talking about the NFL. You have to be able to run routes, a full route.
I think he'll make a team in the NFL. Yes,
Coach Cadmus knows that. You can't just run bubbles every time from the slot. You have to be able to run a lot. This is basically pro football, high level college football. The amount of minds and
Against
coaches that work on
Indiana and against Fresno State and against shitty teams, you can come up with 7 to 10 plays for Donovan Edwards where he doesn't have to run some elaborate route.
You think he could run like a 7-yard out route and like break his hips down and like look fluid doing it? I don't know if he could.
I think
Then
he could run
he's
screen,
not a good
little
player.
split Screen.
Screen, yes.
Connor Hayward got the ball
Back
thrown
to
to
the
him
bright
way
spots.
too much.
He's starting tight end in the NFL.
The 2 running backs that weren't Edwards, I thought were fine. Colson Loveland, besides his one, like just out of body experience blunder. Like again, like it was just funny with the
Cheers to
podcast,
you,
and I
Grant.
had to
That
hand up.
was- That was big of you.
Yeah. I'm not going to talk about. I still think he's a very good player. That's just one of those things where it's like not your day. That won't happen again. The whole season. That I haven't seen someone fumble like that.
Well, it
Ever,
happened in the
really.
Bengals game on Sunday.
Oh, did it really? I did not
Watch
see
this.
it, but
Who was watching the
Yeah,
Bengals
I-
Patriots game?
credit to you.
Red
For
zone. The
seeing
tight
that.
end was running with the ball in one hand, tried to lift it up like over someone and just dropped the football. It's embarrassingly bad.
Playing
It was.
golf.
I mean, he was just trying to tuck it away and dropped it, and he somehow had enough time in his hands to count as an actual fumble. And it was the right call. I cannot believe he just dropped that football. So, besides that,
Yeah,
he
so
played
that's a
well.
positive.
This might go against what people say. He did get kind of picked out in the first half. Jair Hill, the other corner, number 20. But I thought for being a sophomore playing his like first ever big college football game, he got better as the game went on and wasn't as bad. So I have hope for him like into his junior and potentially senior year. So that was good to see. That's pretty much it.
All right,
Those
next
players
question.
stood out to me. Yeah.
Thoughts? Are we out on Wink or we need more Wink?
We need more. That's crazy. Like,
We need a wink more.
Part 2 question, is Wink Don Brown? just a little bit younger.
Wink us
No.
off, Alex.
No.
Wink us off.
Don Brown. That's good. Don Brown ran the most vanilla, obvious defense of all time. And also didn't even know that people could steal your signals, and everyone knew what he was running on every single situation in big games.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we think Wink will be okay.
I think Wink might, I don't know what meetings are like, but I think he might be trying to ask people to do a little too much right now, like trying to still see what people can do. He had Mason Graham line up as a defensive end to try to win a matchup. I just would not do that. I don't, again, I'm not in meetings, and there might be a good reason for it. I think he's trying to do too much, and that showed, I think, because there was a lot of breakdowns on who has who. So I think maybe we need to dumb down a little bit.
Wink be Scotty Hazelton, try to install his complex defense, not have the players for it, and no one also understands it, and then he'll just be stubborn.
Never have the players for
it.
No, I'm not going to insult Wink Martindale comparing him to Scotty Hazelton. He's done a lot more in his football career than Scotty Hazelton. Scotty Hazelton won this battle. He's a special assistant to the head coach of the defense. It's a real title.
Okay. So, another quarterback question.
I have a question, too.
It's a hot topic.
Questions are flying in on the
Is
phones.
Davis Warren going to start the rest of the year then, based on what you just said about Jane Davis?
Starts the rest of the year. There's no way.
Alex Orji can't throw a football, and everyone knows what's happening. At some point,
you're just going to have to risk it for the biscuit. You're going to have to accept that 45% completion percentage in one of the games, and hopefully he has 150 rushing yards.
I don't mean this disrespectfully by any means. You guys are the national champions. But playing the middle Big Ten, I think you guys could lose one of those games because of your offense just can't do enough. You could get in some testy game with Washington where you should win, you're better in most phases, but your quarterback makes a mistake or two, you can't score points, and then you find yourself losing in the fourth quarter. That can happen. Look, I don't think Michigan's ready to just throw the season away because they got blown out by the number 2 team in the country.
I'm not going to just bury a kid.
I'm not asking you to. I'm asking
after his first big football game.
There's a world. 2 weeks of him though.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's played atrocious in either game. He has not he hasn't looked like he can't complete anything. He's had some missed throws for sure. I think it goes back to play calling where we're not really putting him in great spots. We're putting him in obvious third down passing situations.
But also, do you have the guys to get in better spots? Offense.
That's also part of the quarterback conversation is the weapons. And I don't think I'd have to watch it from an all 22 angle or whatever, but I tried watching some of it back today, and it just feels like they're so predictable where it's we're going to run this play. It's going to be, everyone's going to run the same route. We're going to stare down Colson Loveland. It's there has to be more movement. There has to be more to the offense of getting people on crossing patterns. And actually, it's a catch-22 because you don't really have the guys necessarily to go win deep balls, but you almost have to make the defense think you do. And you have to let them try to throw a ball downfield. I don't think Michigan threw a ball in the game mattered in the first half besides a flea flicker. They didn't throw a ball more than 15 yards downfield. You at least we saw with JJ in the Ohio State game in 2022, they found a way to get Colson or Cornelius Johnson wide open on a 40-yard post route. There has to be some way, and if Cornelius Johnson, no offense to him, can get open on a 40-yard post route, Samaj Morgan can get behind a defender. There has to be ways to at least make people think Davis Warren can make those plays. And I think from what I've heard about Davis Warren, the upside with him is he's a little bit better deep ball thrower than he is at everything else. That's his strength, is being able to at least throw it. But
he missed one in the Fresno game. He threw a pick on one.
He did throw one deep ball, and it was a mix of the receiver not coming back to it and a little underthrown. Yeah, and he's making his first 2 college starts ever.
I'm not saying he's the dukiest quarterback of all time. I'm just saying you went from an NFL quarterback that made your team a lot better with skill players that were better than what you currently have. Blake Corum is 9,000 times better than the Dawn. And what's his nut?
Roman Wilson.
Roman, good player, always open. Just seemed like he was always open, making plays, scoring touchdowns. I don't know, man. I just wonder about the weapons, wonder about the QB, and I was curious, who do you think is going to start? Who's week 10? Who's the starting quarterback? Is it still Davis Warren?
Well, I don't think it's going to be Alex Orji. I think that ship has sailed. He had the entire last year to prove himself, and he had all offseason to prove himself, and he got beat up by Davis Warren. I do think I kind of wrote it off, but as I'm learning more, the way they've talked about it, I do think it could be a competition between Warren and Tuttle in the coming weeks, which is, again, a bad spot because USC is 2 weeks from now. Sherrod Moore said today that Tuttle is like ready to go. I don't know what that means. I don't know if that's like he's playing snaps against Arkansas State. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw him. And thinking back to last year, I kind of tuned out a lot of the blowouts they had, but he was the number 2 quarterback last year. So it kind of would make sense if he was backing up J.J. McCarthy on that national championship team, that if J.J. went down, they were going to Jack Tuttle. It probably was supposed to be his job, and he hurt his elbow. I don't know what he did to his elbow, but I guess you're looking at a world where he is your starting quarterback in week 10 if he's healthy.
Do we have any nerves about Arkansas State? 2-0 Arkansas State? Beat Tulsa?
No, it'd be a
freshman player of the year last year in their conference is their quarterback.
No.
Okay, didn't think so. Just wanted to double check. And then I will open the floor now to Evan for his question.
Question number 1: is Sherrod Moore over his head in managing the Michigan football program?
I think it's too early.
The cut for week 2.
Huh?
I think it's too early.
I go too early as well.
It could be.
I do think the guy was born on third base. With 3 outs though, like they left him nothing, so he's in big trouble. It's hard. Like maybe Jim left because he knew it was going to be bad.
He could have done something in the offseason about it. There's something called the transfer portal.
Jim definitely left at the right time. But that actually gives me another question, really quick, Evan.
If Jim Harbaugh
is the coach in that game on Saturday, what's the result?
If they still lose, that Texas. I mean, we're doing the shit on Michigan, but Texas is a national championship contender. Texas wins that game.
Absolutely, I told you that before the game started.
But how much better does Michigan look? Do we feel less concerned if Jim Harbaugh's the coach?
The Michigan team last year, if you give me all the players, I think they win that game still. If you just give me Jim Harbaugh with Davis Warren and Dono, I think we lose. We probably muck it up a little bit more, maybe a little bit more discipline, but like he can't throw the footballs and block people.
No, yeah, I agree. Just wanted to see. Just want to get a vibe check.
Second question.
Yeah.
Do you feel this team was prepared based off of the first quarter results?
No. That was actually I thought I had today, Evan.
I like that.
It just clearly looked like
but
I think it goes back to whatever debacles they had in camp. And that's the hard part about college football is like, especially with the blue wall, you don't learn the true story of what a team's offseason is. All you hear is good, and you don't get to see things like
too much good. It's
like NFL camp. I heard someone say the other day, they were like, any positive thing you hear about a team in the offseason, divide it by 2. It's probably not that good. And that's something I'm going to try to stick with me going forward is like
too much good.
Except Kenneth Walker. That guy was for real.
What it looked like to me on Saturday is that Texas clearly prepared their whole offseason for this moment. They knew this game. They had circled, knew what Wink wanted to do. Sark also, again, we have to talk nice about Texas. Sark, him and Lincoln Riley, which is ironic for Wink, he gets thrown into the fire, are probably the 2 best play callers in all of college football. So you have to face them in the first 4 weeks of the season. And Sark was just like what he was doing to Michigan, out leveraging and just the schemes. If you love offensive play calling, it was a masterclass by Steve Sarkisian.
Oh, Grant, you're a naughty, naughty boy. Because yes, it was. Luckily, Army was on at noon too, so I got to watch Army's offense just absolutely belittle Florida Atlantic. But off of that point,
that was a crazy plug.
Florida Atlantic, not Florida Atlantic, Texas, they run the ball to set it up. Where Lincoln Riley's more of a pass first kind of offense. I think that's why Texas is so difficult to defend because they try to equate numbers. They have more athletes than everybody else. And oh, by the way, we're trying to run the ball down your throat.
Yeah. And they did at times. I do want to dispel that. They did bully Michigan. I'm not saying that. They are bigger than us. They are stronger than us. They are faster than us.
Bigger, faster, stronger. No way to go into life.
But looking back and the stats and watching some of the game back, it wasn't like they were just manhandling them at all points of the game. There was a lot of moments, especially
a lot of times
early
in the first quarter.
there was one drive. The drive when they went up 14-3, I said, "Oh shit!" Like I knew it was over when they went up 14-3. I was like, that was like right through our ass. But Ohio State did that to us last year. Towards the end of the game last year, they had a drive like that where they just pounded it, and that happens in football games. But the thing that was so alarming with Texas, and it sucked to be on the other side of it, is like I gotta stop saying we. I want to do better just saying Michigan. Not just because they're being worse. I just don't want to keep saying we. I think I'm just getting older.
You're okay with we last year.
Right. Immature, getting older.
Damn it.
Michigan was doing a good job of getting them in 3rd and long. Like spots on paper, you'd be like, oh,
Brent,
this is where we want this team.
Great point.
But Quinn Ewers and their team makes plays. And their offensive line gave him time. This was
a good defensive line.
They do. They just Texas has a good offensive line.
Their left tackle is going to be a top 4 pick, so it's okay.
I heard a stat.
That was just a little dig at some of the Michigan fans, Grant, not at you. Don't take it offenses. I'm sorry. I apologize.
I have a point on the defensive line that's important. Don't let me forget that.
Defensive
I heard stats Saturday morning on game day that made me very nervous, or maybe it was Friday before. Texas returned 4 of their 5 offensive line starters, and their fifth guy played last year, not as a starter. So I was like, oh, we might be screwed.
At the beginning of the year, do offensive line starts matter? Returning offensive line starts matter.
If they're good, if they're okay,
all off season.
If they're solid, yes, it does matter. Like if they were a good unit, and I didn't know a lot about Texas. I didn't watch a ton of them last year.
Oh, you missed out.
To be honest,
you watched the Red Bull rivalry.
Yes, I did watch that. I didn't watch the Washington game because I was flying back after the Rose Bowl, so I was ready to watch them in the championship game.
Sean McDonough was doing that game. How dare you?
I know. But to my point, to the 3rd and longs, which there was a decent chunk of them, which is what you want from your defense.
Greg, can I just interrupt right here because it's based off of my point? Texas was 10 for 16 in 3rd down efficiency, while Michigan was 3 for 12.
Yes. And the difference is the offensive line as a whole, but also the quarterback. Because Quinn Ewers he's the guy. He's really good at football. This was watching Michigan play the Big Ten West teams in the Big Ten Championship the last couple of seasons. Carbon copy. And we were Iowa in this game, and I finally realized what it feels like to be Iowa. Your defense doesn't play horrendous at times in the game. There's some drives where they did.
You just bring up so many more questions in my head, Grant. I love you for it. Keep going.
They get you into 3rd and 11, and then you just sit there, and last year it was J.J. McCarthy. Michigan a lot of times would get in 3rd and 7 or long, and J.J. would just make a play. He'd roll out to his right, he'd wait, he'd throw across his body late like a psycho, and it'd move the chains, or he'd find Colson Lovely for a touchdown. Quinn Ewers just did that to us all day long, and you're just helpless because you're like, wow, if they're going to do that when we think we have them and we can't score, then we're just going to lose by 20 points. And that basically was Michigan versus Purdue and Iowa in the Big Ten championship games, and we were just on the other end of it. So that was a very, very humbling feeling as a Michigan fan, just watching what it must have felt like for those teams in those games. Questions?
Question. Just kind of. Do you score more points on Saturday if Cade McNamara is your quarterback?
I didn't really watch their game, but maybe one more touchdown, maybe a field goal.
Okay. All right.
Maybe 10 points by halftime.
Alex, do you have any more questions about this game? Because my next question is just going forward for Michigan.
No. I saw what I needed to see on the field.
I have a couple more about the game, and then we'll do your big picture ones.
Go ahead.
We got to talk a little bit or a second about the orgy package.
Orgy's package.
Orgy's package. If it's going to be this vanilla, if it's going to be shotgun QB sneaks, it can't exist.
It's David Warner calling run rights for Damian Terry. We watched this in 2017.
Yeah, it doesn't.
It works against Ohio State, though.
I'm not playing the card. I don't want people to listen to this and be like, Grant's delusional. I understand we are still going to lose this game. But the fact, though, that the 2 drives you had something going in the first quarter or first half, 9-play, 55-yard drive. We hit the flea flicker, whatever.
You just stopped on 3rd down when Orgy came in.
Yep, 3rd and 3 at the Texas 19. You have a chance to answer them and tie it up at 7-7. And you're like, oh, wow, we're actually going toe-to-toe with them. You just basically run him into a brick wall, and he gets stopped, and you have to kick a field goal. Okay, so there's that. And then later, this might have been in the second half. I don't really remember, but I wrote it down. You get another 9-play drive, 41 yards, 3rd and 5 at the Texas 33. Even longer of a 3rd down. You bring in Orgy, and you basically do the Jalen Milroe Rose Bowl play where he just runs straight forward and gets his legs taken out. It's just, he's never thrown. He's never made anyone think he can throw. if you're not mixing it in on first down or second down when people don't expect it, then you can't pull it out on third and medium and just run him, because it's also putting him in a bad spot because he's not playing and he gets in. He wants to be a hero. He wants to make a play. Of course, he's going to keep the ball and not give it to the running back. Nobody on Texas has to play, has to backpedal at all. They're just downhill at number 10. It's the most, and they probably told them, hey, you know what? Makuba, safety for Texas. If you get beat on an orgy deep ball, we will forgive you. Not your fault. I want you in the back. I want you in the backfield. So that just has to completely.
It's engage 8. You go straight man and engage 8.
It's engage 8. You can't run that package if it's going to be that obvious. I don't really want to see it at all, even if they get cute with it. But if you're going to do it, it has to be on like first down or second and long when you think, oh, like maybe we have a good spot here. You can't do it on third and 3 when everyone's coming downhill at you. Sorry, that pissed me off because they get 14 points there in the middle of the game. It's not as bad as it was. They still lose, don't get me wrong. It's just not as bad of a game, and I feel better. And that's why I'm a sicko and still holding out some hope for this offense, but it's stupid. But like I look at that, I'm like, they can clean that up. That should be fixed. Sorry. To Evan's point,
more thought.
Looking back, Texas looked like they were ready for this game the whole offseason, and they knew what Wink wanted to do, and they had it all ready to go. Michigan looked like they were figuring out who their quarterback was going to be all offseason, and they didn't change anything from week 1 because they were still figuring themselves out, and that I thought was the clearest thing. If they had like
very good,
if they had made a decision like we are going with Davis Warren or we are going with Orgy and we're using Fresno to like get ready for Texas and like figure it out, they are just like, we're just going to, we got through Fresno. We're just going to try the same thing we did against Fresno and see if it sticks. And so now, the sicko fan of me is like, maybe now they'll realize, oh, we're not very good. If we keep doing this, we need to pick one guy and try to scheme around them. And maybe it gets better for USC, but I don't know. I really don't know. My last point. I know Alex has one more.
You have another point? My God.
Yeah. The depth of this is the defensive line point I told Evan to write down.
Oh, yeah. Well, right here it says D-line overrated. Grant has a comment about it.
I warned about this in the offseason. I did warn about this in the offseason. I said doomsday of this team is that you have like the Ohio States of previous years where you have all the flashy high draft picks, but you're not really the most cohesive team you could be. And I think I think we're seeing that through 2 games, is that Michigan last year was as good as they were because their depth was out of this world. Kenneth Grant was not a starter. Mason Graham became a starter like halfway through the year and early in the year. But like those were guys that would come in to replace Chris Jenkins or replace people who had been there a while. Like Rayshon Benny was like a third stringer last year. And now they had to play a lot. And they're good players, but they're going to get gassed. And what you saw Texas do, which Joe Klatt did a great job of explaining, he said every time Kenneth Grant and Mason Graham were in the game, they just threw quick outs to the outside. Everything was outside. And then when they got tired of chasing people and they took them out of the game, because they're big and they have to sit for a little bit, they ran in the A gaps. And that's where we don't have the depth. In the other years, if Chris Jenkins goes out, Kenneth Grant comes in, you still can't run up the middle. So they laid the blueprint, and they didn't throw at Will Johnson. So credit to him for, doing his job. But they gave a blueprint of how to attack the defense. So yes, it's going to be, they have to figure some things out.
Alex, your last point?
Yeah, as a guy that's watched a lot of bad football teams
must
for
be
the
a
last few years, Michigan State particularly, has been very
not familiar with that team.
Poopy doopy dookie the last few years. I'm not going to say Michigan is that because that's not fair to them, and they would beat the Michigan State team of the last 2 years for sure. But there are certainly shades of a little bit of dookie in the sense of
word of the night.
the coaching. Starting to get a little whiff of that diaper. You're like, ooh, I don't know if these guys are ready in year 1 to really be the guys, which they certainly could figure it out. And 3 years and from now, they could, be Big Ten champs again, all that. So that's Dookie number 1. The coaching staff I'd be a little concerned about. Dookie number 2, as Grant mentioned, is the depth. I don't see the depth right now because all those kids are like freshmen and sophomores that are backups. And so when they come in, they have no experience and they typically struggle, as most kids do, unless you're Nick Marsh. And then 3 would just be that Donovan Edwards is Dookie, and the weapons on offense are not right now are not good outside of Colson Loveland, and it's pretty easy to scheme your defense up to just cover him and then knowing that their wide receivers are not really going to get open to do anything. So my general sense of this Michigan team is shades of Dookie could go poorly if they don't clean some things up. For the record, I think they clean some things up and they'll be okay and they'll be a respectable Iowa-level football team. But the smell of that Dookie in the diaper is not far.
Questions for you, Alex, since you've asked a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Do you lean more towards doomsday of 7 wins? Or
I said the under.
would you? I'm going to give you the extremes, not the middle ground, because 8-4, 9-3 is easy to say right now. That's easy to say. Do you lean more towards 7-5, or can you see a world with what you've seen from Oregon the first 2 weeks, where maybe they are still able to out physical USC and they beat Oregon at home and they end up 10-2?
The most important position in college football is quarterback. Michigan doesn't have one. 7 wins.
But my counter to that is that we watched this team be pretty good with Cade McNamara.
Cade McNamara is better than Davis Warren. So
is he, though?
1. Number 2.
Is he actually that? Is he actually better than him?
I think he had better athletes on those teams.
Yeah, I was just going to say it. Number 2, Blake Corum was on that team. Offensive line was good on that team.
Offensive line was
Blake Corum didn't play that much.
I wonder why he couldn't catch a ball on the wheel route. 2021 PTS.
The offensive line difference, I think, is also just a massive factor. Like, if I was confident in saying that Michigan's going to bully people and run the ball really well, I'd be like, oh, yeah, I would be like, yeah, Texas is good. You ran into a buzzsaw, but like, I'm not ready to say that you're going to run the ball well this year yet. I think by like week 9, week 10, your offensive line will probably be gelling pretty good because they'll finally have a lot of games or a few games under their belt. Right now, though, in the early season test, I just don't think they're like a cohesive unit. And you have a running back that cannot find the hole to save his life. So maybe if you bench the Don for who's that freshman? Brees Hall. He looks pretty good. I would play him over Don.
Yes, Ben Hall for the joke.
Hall, Alex.
So,
come on.
But we're really, though, with college football, they're
7 is more likely than 10, in my opinion, to answer your question.
If Michigan beats USC, who people are high on, rightfully so right now, if they beat USC,
beat a bad LSU team, it looks like.
Okay, so we can discredit USC, I guess. But like, if they beat USC,
I'm not discrediting USC.
I'm not discrediting.
All right, are we just if they beat USC? Doesn't matter by how many points. You're like, they're still going to trip up.
No, we don't apologize
Illinois
for wins in any way possible.
No, but I know. But are you like, oh, they're still going to lose to Illinois and get picked off by those teams to go 7-5? Or does it, like I was saying, I feel like we're so fragile in week 2 right now. We need more information.
So number 1, as a 7-5 team, you have the ability to pick off anyone, and you have the ability to be picked off. That's the problem with being a 7-5 team. Is like 1 week, Mel Tucker, you beat ranked Illinois, who almost beat Michigan that year. And then the next week, you lose to Maryland by 21 points. So it's just a very weird season being in that realm where you don't have like a dominant side of the ball. So if you beat USC, I'll still think that you could drop a game to someone else. It's weird because you had 3 years where I thought you wouldn't lose to anybody and you're going to dominate all the bottom of the Big Ten easy. And I'm not comfortable. I think you beat all the bottom Big Ten teams. But when you get into the weird middle ground, I think there's more 50-50 shots where we're at the point where this team just probably doesn't know how to close out a game yet because it's a lot of new guys and a quarterback that's never done it. Unless you count Fresno as a closeout. But Will Johnson closed out that game.
I'm going to hope that this team hits like desperation stage after getting embarrassed. Like they really get mad. And
they could get pissed
I think they were
off
high.
And then why not?
They were high on their own supply.
You would hope
we
not. See, there was plenty of like red flags after week 1 where you should not be thinking your shit don't stink because I can smell that dookie from a mile.
There was some things where you don't talk about them while they're going on because you're winning, but there's a couple of things after you lose by Texas where you're like, oh, maybe like I'm curmudgeon-y Grant, but maybe little things like, oh yeah.
Michigan State fans, we didn't win a national championship, but we do know this feeling of we went to the playoff, we won the Big Ten, we beat all the big teams, and then we came back next year, we win the first game, we beat Notre Dame on the road. Remember, new quarterback, a lot of skill players, a lot of high talent, best recruiting class we've ever had, bunch of 4 stars, which is good for us. you Michigan fans. That's good for us. We had a two-way player, Donnie Corley. Like, oh my God, dude, we're awesome. And then we played a good team, Wisconsin, at home, got smacked, and then the wheels just fell off completely, entirely.
Well, we
I'm
lost to TJ
hoping
Watt.
that doesn't, the wheels don't come off. I'm hoping that
and they won't come
wake
off
up.
probably to that level, but just so you know, in that season, the 3-9 year, we were a 2-point conversion away from beating number 2 Ohio State.
Yeah, one of the worst play calls of all time.
Yeah, I mean, I've watched the O'Corn years. They were
It was at that Ohio
touchdown
State
drive.
So there was moments of like, oh, this team is good, and then they blew out Rutgers 49-7. So you're like, oh, they got some skill. And then
I
lose,
just can't go.
Then you lose
I
the
can't
games
go back to that place.
like Maryland. it's gonna.
I won't watch if it gets to that. I just will not watch them play football.
I think the country would say 7-5 is more likely than 10-2 at this point.
I agree with that, but that's why I want to be contrarian. I'm not going to give up.
I realistically think it's in the middle.
People think I've had it easy. For people that listen to the show, and rightfully so, because we started the show and they never lost. But I was there for the Shea Patterson years when we got embarrassed by Saquon Barkley on national TV. Just absolutely embarrassed.
The
by
Shea
Saquon
Patterson
Barkley.
years weren't that bad.
And then we went back there after we got embarrassed by someone and we were trying to beat Penn State and Ronnie Bell dropped the pass on the goal line as like a freshman or sophomore. And listener Brad can attest, I was the only one. I was standing on the couch trying to will them to that victory. Okay, I know what it takes to will my team, and I'm ready to put on that performance for USC. I will drag this team to a win against USC, and then we'll move. We'll go from there.
I just wanted to give that Notre Dame example because if you do beat USC and you think you're good again, just be careful because this.
Well, we got Minnesota next week, so they'll win that game. Maybe lose at Illinois.
This team smells of a wee bit of dookie. So you got to be careful.
But it's so hard because
just get some Febreze and that dookie goes away.
Like you said in Texas, so Texas is like a top 3. There's in my mind, it's Georgia, Ohio State, Texas right now for playing for the championship game. Until someone else shows that they are in that
I think
class.
Ole Miss
Everyone else
will be in that conversation.
Way too early to tell. But you're taking your shot. They won't play anyone until LSU. They don't play a single opponent with a pulse until LSU.
Correct.
And they probably will lose that game if we're being honest.
Maybe.
But
any other questions?
I thought I had one other point, but
yeah, ask me away, dude.
I have one last question.
I love Michigan football.
One last question.
Sicko.
This is based off of Alex's point about the weapons and the offensive production. As of right now, Loveland.
Good point. Now I have a question.
Loveland counts for 48% of Davis Warren's passing yards, almost half.
That's a sexy stat.
Almost half. Is there any way, or who would you like to step up?
It got to be Samaj Morgan. When you look across football of like the little short burst guy that can kind of move around fast, you'd like to see him get him the ball easy touches, as we talk about. People like to talk about the easy touches in space, like the Lions started to do with Jameson Williams. Not just deep balls every time, but a crossing route. Oh my God, what a concept! A crossing route where you rub off of people and he's open. Or some play action. I just think, and I don't know if it's this game, but this Michigan offense that I'm watching does not even get back to some of the older school. Not even last year with JJ because he was a unique breed. It's like they're trying to run JJ's offense with Davis Warren, and that's stupid. They need to get back to like the Cade plays where we're under center and we're doing a full play action fake, and then we're turning around one read over the middle, find a guy. That's what I need to get to. This is my question for you guys. What do you think is better for Michigan's offense going forward? Should we try to get a little bit more creative on second and first down where we're not as predictable, just running the ball every time?
Yes.
Or I had this thought, which I'm okay with because I'm a sicko. You only need 3.5 yards per carry for 3 downs to get a first down. And nothing I've seen so far this year has shown me that Khalil Mullins cannot average that. So I would just run him every single play down the field. Just get 3.5 yards. It would be the most disgusting team. Hit a couple play action shots. Why don't we just really get disgusting if we're going to lean into it and run him 20 times a game for fall forward for 3 yards and go do QB sneaks on 4th and 1 and just do our play action shots when they present themselves. Like that's the offense we could go towards if we don't need to try to be modern. I would do that.
To be Iowa.
To get to 9-3? Yes.
9-3 playing like this is another question, but 9-3 like playing like that, does Michigan get in the playoff?
No. 9-3, no. 10-2 does. That's why we're going for 10-2.
Oh.
Goals are still in front of us, gentlemen. We're just not going to be national champs. Let me make that crystal clear. If it hasn't
Abundantly
already.
clear that Michigan will not be winning the national championship.
Playoffs, they're not out of the question.
Magic number is 9. Michigan State's magic number is 8.
Number's 8. Yeah. Feels so good.
Yeah. Any more questions?
No.
That was
I
it.
think we hammered it home.
All right.
Dookie that needs some Febreze.
I'm not giving up. I want that on the record. I did say I am focusing on the Lions. I don't want to get that twisted. 80% is Lions, 20% is Michigan, but I'm not giving up on this team. Not until the USC game.
I agree. You shouldn't.
No. Texas
They're
might
gonna
win the
beat
national championship.
USC, dude. They're gonna win the rest of the games.
I might pick them. Too.
Natty.
No.
Or Bucks.
I gotta see some things against Tuttle. Just send me some Tuttle tape.
Maybe Tuttle's good. He could be the answer. He could unlock this season.
I did watch some YouTube highlights of him. He throws a little bit like Andrew Maxwell, just absolute darts at people's chests. But it wasn't bad from what I saw.
Let him play.
Can you find me the game line for the USC game? It's got to be out. Because ESPN doesn't update
There's
any
no
of the graphs.
line, dude. The lines come out on Sunday afternoon. That's why I don't release the lines until then. There's no gambling lines
Someone
for
find me
USC
one.
in 2 weeks. There just
Now.
isn't
There
one.
could be.
There
There was before the season.
Yeah, but then they
It's
get rid of
Michigan
them once
minus
the
9.5.
season starts.
It's
They dump them.
disgusting.
We don't need to do predictions for Arkansas State, but they are 22.5 point favorites.
I would take Arkansas State to cover based on the offense I've seen.
Red Wolves.
Oh, that's so mean.
USC plus 2.5.
Wow. Get on that now, Evan. He's thinking about it.
I am thinking about it.
He's thinking about a max unit play. They're a bye week too. Just so you know, USC has their bye week in week 3, so they're just hanging around. They play nobody this week. But no disrespect to Arkansas State, it should be a tune-up game, which I think this team needs. I'd rather them play a team than have a bye week. Honestly,
That MGM right now is plus 8.5 USC. On FanDuel, it's plus 1.5. Caesars plus 8.5. DraftKings plus 9.
so they're just offering promos. It should be plus 1. I
The
think that's the real line.
real line is FanDuel is plus 1.5.
Which is basically saying they're just giving a couple points for home field advantage.
Correct.
They think USC should win the game, which I don't disagree with. Anyways, Michigan State, the 2-0 team, magic number 8, beats Maryland.
Arkansas State to cover. Come on. We need to give our predictions. We give predictions every week. We're just not going to this week.
You think we need to say the score for these two
I was
games?
just
Not
score,
going to?
But I will pick the Red Wolves to cover. Did I pick them in our pool? No.
I will
I'm in second
go
place. Gotta hold on tight. Maybe the Red Wolves is the play.
Long season.
pissed
lot of
off.
games.
Michigan, they haven't lost in over a calendar year. 38-10. Wolverines.
Oh,
Whoa. They scored
that
38
doesn't
points.
happen. We hit the
They do.
panic dookie button.
They're just going to run through this team.
All right. Thank you for the prediction. We don't need to give one because it's stupid.
If they don't cover this, then I'll be actually pretty nervous.
Ooh, the dookie alarm.
If you can't come back from
I hope we
losing for the
sound
first
that
time in like a year,
diarrhea dookie alarm next week.
yeah, that'll be full. That'll be full dark if it's like we look like shit against Arkansas State. No offense to them again.
2-0. They're 2-0.
2-0. Michigan State win at Maryland 27-24. I'll throw it to you. Let me ask some questions.
Oh.
Dan Childs had one bad throw, and it was a very, very, very bad throw.
But it
He
was
has-
just one.
A
Was
double
it the one that
move
got picked off in the end zone?
corner of the end zone in the shadows because you couldn't even see it because of the terrible Maryland's football stadium is. Way to
You're
show
supposed
up
to
for,
throw
way
it
to show up for your
inside,
football
Bruno.
program, Maryland fans. Way to show up for your football program.
Oh my god! When Marissa and I were watching, I don't know about you guys, but they were doing the entrances to the game, and
They
like
said that
I
the
was-
fans didn't get in till late.
Not
I was
bullshit. What fans?
I was laughing at Maryland's entrance because it was like this little gate, and there was a
Dude, we
girl
were in
holding
like
it
a
in.
driveway.
And then they cut to Michigan State, and you guys were by the ambulance, like it was a high
And
school
we were like,
field.
we're at
Tecumseh.
Tecumseh High School. I was like, what are we
That's
doing?
Purdue. That was Purdue's entrance until they upgraded
I
their
was like,
stadium.
I was like, "What the is this? This
We're
is
literally
this doesn't
standing
look
on like
a real game."
gravel. Gravel by a little like shed. I'm like, what the come on. Give us a locker room at least.
That was the most exciting Michigan State football game you've watched since when? That's my first question.
Oh,
This is dark.
Has to be at least a year, right?
Peach Bowl.
Like last year, Peach Bowl.
No, it can't be that far.
Like last
Damn
year,
it.
was there any exciting game that was
no,
like, oh
you
yeah,
didn't watch it.
Last year, no, but
The first half of the Rutgers game.
no.
Don't
last
ask me what
year,
happened in the second half.
Wisconsin in overtime the year after the Peach Bowl? That one wasn't terrible.
I blacked out.
Keon had like a touchdown in overtime. That game was all right.
Jaden Reed caught that touchdown.
Yeah.
You're thinking of Nebraska, I think.
No. Wisconsin at home. I've been blacked out.
Double overtime
win. Keon and Jaden Reed were like the entire offense.
So a long time.
Year and a half.
Okay, so we said, I think, one of the last 2 weeks that I don't know if both of you thought this. I know Alex at least thought split versus Maryland Boston College. Are we still thinking that Boston College is going to be chalked up as a loss?
I think it's a 50-50 game. I think it's two comparable teams that are under new regimes, surprising a little more than maybe they thought. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I don't feel great. Be nice to win them.
Have you elevated your ceiling for this team?
Yes, but not just because of their performance, but because of the Big Ten as well and people on our schedule. Iowa lost.
Evan, how about you?
Looked bad.
Have you elevated your ceiling?
8-4.
I don't remember.
We're going up 2 wins. I always said we were going to beat Iowa. I always said we were going to beat Iowa at homecoming.
Right.
I'm feeling good about October 26th a little bit more.
Okay. Worse about November 2nd. Signetti.
Oh.
No, don't feel worse about that. I feel bad.
At Illinois, a little bit worse?
No. Lance Lee shit? Come on. He can't win a road game.
Right, I forget. Evan, here's a question for you. Do you still think at Oregon Friday night is going to be miserable?
Yes. It's going to be miserable.
Alex thinks it's going to be frisky.
I don't think it's
after you get
for both of them.
You didn't watch Boise State. You haven't watched their games. You don't understand what we went through.
I watched
their offensive line. They could not block.
I watched
they can block anyone.
But it's a short week after we're just going to get dismantled by Ohio State at home and be like, all right, boys, here we go. Another top 10 team. Oh, and FYI, guys, we leave on Thursday. No day off this week. Your day off is when we're traveling.
We'll probably leave Wednesday.
You guys are already doing flight plans. Did Connor do any time Alan Lazard or just first? Probably just first, because would be sick if he had. This is a random question, not to go back to Michigan, but Alex, you'd like this. I was just thinking of NFL players. If the Michigan got Jahmyr Gibbs tomorrow, would they win the Big Ten?
You got to get a quarterback to throw in the ball.
Yeah, because Gibbs on Georgia Tech didn't win anything. So,
damn, you're not Gibbs gang. I said in the chat last week, I think if we got Jahmyr Gibbs, we're just one Jahmyr Gibbs away from winning the Big Ten.
He definitely would help.
Anyways, sorry. Your guys' main takeaways from this Michigan State Maryland game?
I wrote down in all caps, first line, we said, we played Chuck at football.
Hell yeah.
He threw almost 400 yards. He has a very bad interception, turns around next drive, first 2 plays out of the drive. Play action pass, and then a quick pass.
Yeah.
I mean, he does throw a pretty ball. Do I know where it's going? No. He does throw a pretty ball.
When he's locked in, he raises our ceiling several wins.
Yes.
When he is being he's not a true freshman, but basically.
He also is an 18-year-old. He acts like an 18-year-old multiple times. Then he also acts like a top 5 quarterback in the Big Ten.
When he flashes the ugly, it's like, oh my gosh.
His fumble intercept. How do you drop a ball?
And then he flashes his elite talent level, and you're like, holy shit, we could do something.
That pass that he had with the tackle tackling him, and he throws a 30, 40-yard strike in between the 2 safeties. I'll tell you what, we haven't seen that at Michigan State in years.
Since who?
Connor Cook.
Connor Cook. And I don't know if Connor Cook's still even making that throw with the guy in his face.
Pre-shoulder injury Connor Cook, too.
Pre-shoulder injury Connor Cook.
Sophomore, junior Connor Cook was a guy.
And he still looks cool when he runs. He knows when he needs to run. He's not obsessed with running.
He doesn't know that yet. He actually needs to learn to tuck and run more. He did it the last 2 drives, though, which is when it mattered.
Got to go for the first down a little bit better. He was 1 yard short on one of them.
Lowered the shoulder the next 2 times. Lowered the shoulder the next 2. In fact, the one Maryland guy didn't think he was even going to lower it. He didn't even try to tackle him. It was really awkward to watch. It's kind of like bowled forward.
Nick Marsh, arrival game.
Star.
Marsh
Holy
coming
shit.
out game. I don't
Good
know how
player.
bad Maryland's secondary is going to be for the rest of the year, but I'm glad they stuck this game.
He looks the part.
He's
But
not
even
just a deep ball catcher
routes.
either.
Correct.
He's
In
running
fairness,
routes. He's getting open.
The deep outs that are throwing are nice.
I need to mention something on Aiden Childs as well. We haven't had a quarterback that could throw an out to the sideline. Holy shit, in forever. So when we're watching those get completed, it's not new for Michigan fans. They watch JJ have a cannon arm, so it's like, oh yeah, that's an easy throw. I watched Caden Hauser last year throw little ducklings to the sideline. I'm like, holy shit, this is not going to work. Aiden Childs just zings it from the other hash to the other sideline. I'm like, oh,
so jealous of that feeling. Such a cool feeling when you see it.
Awesome.
Whoa.
When you're just dinking.
It might get picked off for 6, but he can get it there.
But holy shit, he's throwing it in there. Rocket.
Yeah, that's the clip I tweeted out today. So for all the people out there that think I'm biased, I was watching the highlights. I was like, wow, that actually, the throw with a minute left in the first half to Nick Marsh from the right hash outside the 40 on the numbers was probably, well, no, the one Evan's talking about was the most impressive throw of the day that wasn't the touchdown, but that was like up there with like, wow, that's a crazy throw to make. And it was an absolute dot where it needed to be high and away. So he does not lack any talent in his body. That's confirmed.
And to think he's a kid.
18.
We got a lot of games left with him.
15 years old.
He's literally an 11-year-old. And he's out
just
there
got his driver's license.
slinging. Like he could go down as something special if he can reel it all in.
And special enough seeing signs that, like to Evan's point, throws a pick, comes right back at it.
He's maturing in front of our eyes.
Makes drives late in a game, doesn't throw a pick there to lose the game. Like, I mean, maybe we're just talking ourselves into 10 wins here. I don't think we are, but we're seeing him grow up.
He's going to make too many mistakes like we know he will, but when it's good, it's good.
You have a competent offensive coordinator. You have a competent coaching staff. How much difference it makes. I mean, we're averaging 14 yards per reception.
Got a hypothetical question. If Aiden Childs started game 1 of the Kenneth Walker season, is our ceiling raised? We beat Purdue?
No. Well, you would have lost more games in the beginning.
You think we would have lost to Northwestern when Kenneth Walker had 250 yards? I think
you would have lost to Miami.
Because of Peyton Thorne? I think Peyton Thorne that year was better than Aiden? I think Aiden Childs is probably better than him right now.
Than Peyton Thorne. I know it's fun right now because they lost to Cal, but
right.
Peyton Thorne was pretty good. He had a really good year that year.
Jalen Naylor, Jaden Reed, Connor Hayward, and Keon Coleman, and Kenneth Walker.
But he made less mistakes.
Every single player
on,
his name is starting in the NFL one way or the other.
He made less mistakes.
Mark Antonio recruited all of them, besides Kenneth Walker.
Not Keon.
I think this is a little too far into the deep end.
I don't know. There certainly would have raised the ceiling. Could have lowered
maybe
the floor.
by end of season. And he also, I don't think Peyton Thorne played that bad in the Purdue game. It was always just your defense.
Kenneth Walker fumbled and lost a fumble for the first time in his career.
Does Aiden Childs come back in that Michigan game? That was a lot of stones throws by Peyton Thorne that game.
Good point, Grant.
Childs can make all the throws. He can.
But he also can make the bad plays. And I feel like Thorne limited a lot of those. Unless I'm misremembering that season.
Besides the first deep ball in the Michigan game.
Threw a pick in the Michigan game.
That was horrendous.
That was a bad throw.
I don't know. I might be over drinking the Kool-Aid, but I have not seen a quarterback with this kind of skill set in a while.
Right now, yeah. If you put Aiden Childs in Auburn, I think their fan base would be very excited about that. I think they'd be like, hell yeah, let's do it.
Does Aiden Childs beat Cal on Saturday? I'd say yes.
Because I think Cam Coleman and all those other dudes. Yeah,
I think Maryland beats Cal right now.
Dude, the Billy Edwards is not a bad football player.
He's good. He's good.
Yeah.
He's actually good. He had one throw that was jaw-dropping on the sideline.
Yeah, he did. It was a deep ball, like in the corner.
It was perfect. 5 yards in the air, dropped in a bucket. I was like, my God.
Perfect coverage.
Billy, what a toss.
Honestly, if he was Michigan's quarterback, we'd be styling.
You would be good. He's good. He's actually good.
And he's like a brick shit house, too.
Also, Maryland's skill players are pretty solid. They have one kid.
That Ty Felton kid had like 200 yards both games.
That kid's good. Back to the Michigan State game. Takeaways.
I mean, I don't know. I don't really know about
Alex,
defensively.
trivia
I didn't pay attention to any of that shit. But
trivia question for you:
yeah.
Who is the leading tackler on Michigan State's football team after 2 games? Can you name him?
Jordan Turner. Sorry.
Oh,
That's
he
my guess.
played a lot more.
It's
Jordan
got to
Hall
be someone
played a
weird.
lot.
Angelo Gross.
Ding, ding, ding. Angelo Gross is the leading tackler on Michigan State's football team.
Competent coaching makes him look okay.
Just like we said.
The Sugar Weasel.
I was screaming the boogeyman on Saturday. Screaming it.
When he made the tackle and lateral play.
Well, he made the first tackle of the game and the last tackle of the game. Defense, obviously the secondary a little bit, but like Alex said, I think Maryland's offense is a little better than expected, but also we only did give up, 24 points?
They got stops when we needed them.
24 points in a college football game. Got 1 turnover. We lost a turnover battle, but we only had 1 sack, which is kind of sad to see. But it's more of a
didn't give up any rush yards again. Run defense was solid.
Nice.
We're gonna need that in 2 weeks. 8 o'clock, bro. I just have. Oh my god. Oh, overall, I mean, that game put me on the edge of my seat. I'm pacing in the yard that I'm watching it by myself. Basically, I hear it from the peanut gallery. Just every now and then they'll ask me, "Evan, how's it going over there?" And I say just a couple word response, saying it's usually terrible or not bad. Everyone's just like socializing while I'm sitting there.
It's a win for me because you guys are way more exciting to watch than like any
Oh
of me.
my god. I was texting someone like the peaks and valleys of Aiden Childs' experience is just roller coaster level. It's like all the way to the top and then all the way sinking feeling you lost a football game back. Up and down the whole game, just ride that wave. Touchdown first drive, pick second drive. Touchdown third drive, pick fourth drive. Fumble fifth drive, touchdown sixth drive. That was just all game.
You're basically coming up and down off of heroin highs for 3 hours.
Yeah, and it felt
good
like
stuff.
It felt like I ran a marathon when the game ended.
It's good stuff. I like it. For me, I obviously watch them because Marissa's a fan, and for the show, I'm like, oh, this is more enjoyable. This is just a good watch. I don't care.
We haven't had exciting football in years since Kenneth. So
yeah,
to have any
fact that 2022, the Illinois win probably was exciting for you guys. That was a road.
Very exciting. I watched it
ranked
in
win.
Alex's living
Birmingham.
room. Your living room.
Yeah,
this was your living room at the time.
Also, Peyton throwing 3,240 yards, 27 touchdowns, 10 picks in 2021.
Childs might throw more picks, but more touchdowns.
Touchdowns in a season.
I bet Childs throws more touchdowns in that season.
Do you think he breaks the score record?
Only
That'd be sick.
Yeah, I think
he has 3.
He has 1
Didn't
rushing.
have any in the first game?
Didn't have any in the first game. Grant, we scored 2 touchdowns. We had 16 points, Grant.
I forget.
We used a different playbook in week 1.
Hey, the week 1 to week 2 jump.
That was big. Big offense.
How's play calling? Is that a lot better?
I still don't like a lot of these stretch zone plays.
Although we gashed him on the first drive with the stretch zone, Evan.
Correct. I honestly only think the reason that we run those stretch zone plays and get negative yards on most of those handoffs is just so we can do the boot action. It's 100% that's the only reason why we do it.
But Childs loves the boot. He loves getting out there
boot.
Whipping in a dart.
Oh,
but I think it's predictable. Boot. Eventually, when the teams see that boot action, force that. They'll just send their opposite guy right on Childs.
All right, I have 1 positive, 1 negative. Positive. There's a lot to clean up.
I have no negative.
So
penalties.
They're going.
That's what I was looking up.
I think they're going to get better.
100.
Oh,
another 100+ yard penalty game.
I think so. I think we had 10 for 100, Grant.
Turnovers obviously can be cleaned up, and I still think
I gotta plan my day for the 21st. I gotta hype myself up for that game.
There's
still
room for run game to be better. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't.
I got 2 weeks to
exciting
for that. Oh my God.
Negative is that we're losing. I mean, I've been just talking to himself out loud for the last 3 minutes.
He does that sometimes.
Negative is we lose a player for the season every week. So not great.
Who's down now?
So we lost Dylan Tatum for the season, week 1.
Yeah.
Plus Majid, plus someone else in week 1. I can't remember. It was just our right tackle,
A receiver.
right guard.
He lost a receiver for the year. Alante Brown.
Oh,
Got it.
And then
I know
now,
ball. I love MSU.
Yes,
now
you do.
this week it's Phillips, who's our starting right guard, I think, starting left guard.
Yeah, he's one of our guards.
Kevin
And
Zeitler, John Jackson.
Right guard.
Now Chance Rucker, who was our
Sophomore,
he had a
backup corner.
pick.
Sophomore corner.
Chance
He had
Rucker
a
did not
pick.
have a pick. Charles Brantley.
Brantley had the pick.
I need to be humbled.
So Woods went down. Rucker comes in. Rucker's out 6 to 8 weeks. Don't know the status on Woods. Hopeful. They said they're hopeful he plays this week. Glover got injured. They're hopeful he plays this week. So we're quickly decimating our depth, which we actually had some on defense. But we're already going to get to the point where
That is at linebacker.
we have D-line depth and linebacker depth. And
I was fan someone had a sack in the FAU
he
game.
starts.
Sorry, that was... No, he didn't play against... he didn't record stats against Maryland.
He started.
Hmm.
And then the
Hell yeah.
transfer from Oregon, D-tackle, he's injured. He didn't play last week either.
Mm.
It's like, holy shit, dude. Can we get better injury luck? Because it's not great. Already, week 2, we're at 7 guys that were full-time players out. But I like what
Who's
I
your
saw.
strength coach? Is he good?
Yeah,
Any
he's pretty proclaimed.
That made me think I really miss Michigan. So I
Brought him from
know
Oregon
it's like
State.
they said they're running the same stuff, but I just think of that Texas game. I was like, Ben Herbert is missed greatly here.
I'll say Michigan State this year looks like they got some dudes that get off the bus. You're like, oh, that guy's big. Chris Bogle is a scary looking dude.
It's always nice to have. You'd rather have that than the other way.
Yeah, for sure.
Like when Michigan played Georgia in the Orange Bowl.
All right, Grant. Now here's a question for you.
Yeah.
Michigan State over under 7.5 as well. Got a lot of winnable 50-50 games now.
Probably 7-5.
I think that's reasonable. Evan?
I just can't live in a world where we have the same record this year. I can't.
I think
can't do
the two Michigan has more NFL guys, but I think the cohesion team aspect of it, I don't know if it's a massive gap between Michigan and Michigan State.
I can't. I should take that back. I can. I'm just being petty. I will just watch Rose Bowl and championship game highlights, but I would prefer not.
And then I asked you this also on Saturday when I talked to you. Set the line for the Michigan State game right now. Evan, you too.
What did I say then? Did I say 10.5?
Points? I'll go Michigan minus 4.5 right now.
I still think
it's probably going to be could be
Yeah,
CBS.
favorites.
are we doing it like what we actually think it'll be, or what we think it should be?
What you think it should be is what I want to know.
I would like to think, just blue wall, that we can still win that game by 2 touchdowns. So I do 13.5
I would probably
by end of October.
if I was gambling,
God, October
Knowing-
26th.
knowing we have a better quarterback, I would probably take us to cover that. All right, next question. Is it fair to say Michigan State has the best quarterback in the state of Michigan right now?
Yes.
Okay. Just want to make sure we're on the same page. Some Michigan fans
Until
will probably
Tuttle.
disagree.
No.
No.
Until Tuttle's music.
Childs has got the talent to be better than most.
If Childs and Lindgren, no disrespect to them, if they carve up Wink, then Wink can go after year one.
That's
again,
disrespectful.
not-
Aiden Childs
it's not.
has NFL ability.
I'm just saying, though, if you can't bait an 18-year-old into some interceptions and you've been in the NFL for 30 years, then I don't know.
That's
Maybe
fair
time
because
has passed
Childs
you
is
by.
throwing picks against everybody.
Everyone is saying that Wink is a little tendencies, but should confuse you a little bit. Obviously, Quinn Ewers not confused. He's good, really, and old. So if you can't confuse the middle tier QBs in the Big Ten, then it's not going to work ever.
Trivia question.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who is Michigan State's true freshman wide receiver leader? Who has the
Nick
record
Marsh.
for most yards in this freshman season as a wideout from Michigan State University?
Charles Rogers.
Incorrect.
What?
Plaxico Burress.
Incorrect. It was in our time, Evan. This is our time.
BJ Cunningham.
BJ
Jalen
Cunningham. Correct. Nick Marsh is only 300 yards away from breaking down.
Nick Marsh, 1,000-yard receiver this year?
He's at 200.
He's on pace.
Is that on pace?
He's at 200 through 2 games.
Yeah, he's on pace for
He's got 10
1,200.
games left.
Yeah, true.
Plus a bowl game.
Well, no, regular season. Sorry.
Yeah, he's on pace for
I'm telling you.
1,200 yards.
I know. I'm just saying.
I don't think he's going to get 1,200, but 750. I think he'll break the freshman record.
750. Should get at least
You got to think that
50, 70 next week.
you got to think defenses will start to try to take him away if they think he's our weapon.
True.
You
But
would
then
hope so, but there's a lot of stupid coaches in the Big
Foster.
Ten.
There are a lot of stupid coaches.
I mean, Maryland let us run the same play twice against them,
Back-to-back drives.
and he beat them both times. So
Oh, shoot. All right. I think that's it for Prairie View. Sorry, no disrespect. Also, what does Run Your Pool give you? There is no line for this game anywhere.
no,
online.
I set the weird lines that don't have lines. I just set them.
You, the bookmaker? Well,
I
this
set
is-
them consistently. Like if they're a goodish team against someone terrible, I put it at 30, and if they're like mediocre, I set it at 24.5.
well, cover your ears, chat, because I don't want to give free wins out, but you should take Michigan State. I think you guys are going to win this game by 40 points. I don't think Prairie View A&M is like really, really bad.
No, I have a person at work that went to school there and played baseball.
You have people that go everywhere. That also, like, it's crazy. The amount like, oh yeah, someone at work.
Yeah. We were looking today at the size of their offensive linemen and defensive linemen. For the record, Michigan State's O-line and D-line are all the starters are over 300 pounds. All of Prairie View's guys are like 275. So in the trenches, they're going to get mowed. They are not going to score a point.
How much are you paying them? Like, this is the only big game they play.
We had
They
a
don't
late-
play any.
Late
They
cancellation.
bailed on us. Yeah.
It was supposed to be
Louisiana,
like
Monroe.
Oh yeah. No, I thought it was Lafayette.
It was the Raging Cajuns.
Raging
That would have been a game.
That would have been the game. Exciting, at least.
I think we're paying them $3 million.
They beat.
They played
They
Texas
beat-
A&M a couple years ago and lost like 70-0.
They
We're
beat
paying them
Northwest State.
$3
by
million.
7. Northwestern State gave up 62 points to Tulsa.
They did beat the Northwestern State Demons 37-31 last week.
What a game.
But they lost to Texas Southern 27-9.
We're going. ESPN's BPI predicts us to win the game 40-0. They're projected no points.
I'm gonna.
We're gonna
go
win by a lot. I think the starters are out of half.
42-3.
47-0. We shouldn't give up a point to them.
I was
would be
told
nice.
they don't have a kicker, so they are
Damn
not
it! I thought
not
about that after
capable
I
of-
said 3.
not capable of kicking field goals. 49-0.
Okay, let me change mine to 42-0.
We're gonna get our first look at our backup from North Dakota, Tommy Schuster,
That's your backup's name? That's sweet.
all-time leading quarterback in North Dakota history.
He came from our team last year.
Yeah.
Did he transfer? Like
Tommy
he wanted to
Schuster.
go up to?
He would, yeah,
they
he
were
would-
like the
he
they were
would
like the best
actually
team in
probably
FCS last
be
year.
helping Michigan right now. He would help Michigan.
Okay.
Right now. I think he would start for Michigan. I think Tommy Schuster starts for Michigan. That's serious. He's a kid from Michigan too.
He did complete 71% of his passes last year.
He's from
But
Michigan,
That dude
and
needs
you
to
guys
teach
didn't reach
how to
out
throw.
just to at least have him like push someone. He should be on your team, not ours.
All right. Cheers to episode 100.
Cheers.
81.
The Detroit Tigers being 3 games out of the playoffs right now.
They bring the boom.
Tyreek Scooble.
Tyreek Hill. Scooble.